In 1993, Major League Baseball came to Colorado. 2 years later, the Rockies finally had a place to call home.
It's opening day at Coors Field, guys. Come down and feel the excitement.
And every spring, players and fans return to their home at 20th and Blake, a home for magical moments.
A high drive, way back, and there's the storybook ending for the Rockies.
A home for greatness.
A walk-off, two-run shot from Cliff Vargas. Oh, what a way to start 2005.
A home for boyhood heroes.
Larry Walker hits it into the gap.
Three-run bomb for Vinny Castilla.
Galarraga rips it into right field for a base hit.
Todd helped the second with a double. And Tulo drives one left center field.
Win or lose,
The Rockies win it 13-2 on a sunshine opening day at Coors Field.
The Rockies come home, and they win in convincing fashion to begin. Strike three on the outside corner. And the Rockies win their home opener 5-2 over San Diego. Perfect afternoon for the Colorado Rockies and more than 50,000 in attendance.
old and new generations alike, nothing stops their celebration.
The party can begin in Lodo.
Because one thing always remains true: there's no place like home.
Hey Rockies fans, Jenny Kavanaugh here with you from my home. And although we would all much rather be at our home ballpark in Lodo today, I'm happy to connect with all of you, hopefully safe and healthy in your homes. You know, today would have been the 28th home opening day in Rockies history, and we know there's no place like Coors Field to celebrate, but nothing can stop us from honoring opening day together. So welcome to this stay-at-home opener and Feed the Rockies fundraising event. We've got a very special virtual game ahead as we bring you the greatest opening day game ever played in Colorado. Hear me out. We've created a complete baseball game with the best innings chosen from the 27 opening day games in Denver. Do you get it? Stay with me, you will. You can enjoy the stay-at-home opener in its entirety right here on AT&T SportsNet, and follow @Rockies on Twitter for even more great content. But most importantly, all throughout today's broadcast and online experience, the Colorado Rockies Baseball Club Foundation is raising money for the food bank of the Rockies. And they pledge to match fans' donations made today up to $300,000, with 100% of the funds raised going to the organization. The Food Bank of the Rockies serves 64 counties in Colorado, as well as Wyoming. Every dollar provides 4 meals, and last year they distributed more than 500,000 people with food. And now all of us in the Rocky Mountain region need to come together to help more than ever. Consider making a donation at rockies.com/feedtherockies. And remember, if you can't donate through the Rockies, we encourage you to seek out your local food bank to lend a hand or donate there. When it comes to food, every little bit helps. So let's get this stay-at-home opener and Feed the Rockies fundraising event going. We'll hand it off to Reed Saunders at Coors Field.
Now, let's meet your 2019 Colorado Rockies. And now the manager of your Rockies, number 10, Bud Black. At this time, let's meet your starting lineup for the Colorado Rockies, printed and delivered by the UPS Store. Playing right field, number 19, Charlie Blackmon. Playing left field, number 26, David Dahl. At third base, number 28, Nolan Arenado. At shortstop, number 27, Trevor Story. At first base, number 24, Ryan McMahon. In center field, number 20, Ian Desmond. At second base, number 1, Garrett Hampson. Doing the catching, number 14, Tony Walters. And today's starting pitcher, number 44, Tyler Anderson. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome home your 2019 Colorado Rockies. Ladies and gentlemen, please rise and direct your attention to the field as the colors of our great nation are presented by honor guards representing each branch of the United States military. Also here today, unfurling our nation's flag on the field, please welcome officers from Denver Sheriff's Department, Adams County Sheriff's Office Academy, and Colorado Professional Firefighters. Thank you to all our special guests working to keep us safe here and around the world. Ladies and gentlemen, please remain standing and kindly remove your caps for the performance of our national anthem. Please join us by singing along to our national anthem performed today by a group representing the United States Air Force Academy Band in Colorado Springs. Please welcome vocalist Master Sergeant Julie Bradley, accompanied by Stellar Brass.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight? Oh, the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets rang clear, the bombs bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave? Oh, the land of the free and the home of the
You always get a special kick on opening day no matter how many you go through.
Mile high and out of here.
You look forward to it like a birthday party when you're a kid.
The kid has done it again.
You think something wonderful is going to happen.
Probably feels like he's living a dream.
And the Rockies have had many wonderful moments.
And there's the storybook ending for the Rockies.
And nobody does it better than the Rockies and Rockies fans.
First game at Mile High is where we start. We're going to what were you anticipating coming home? Because you were on the road first.
Right.
And then thinking about playing at a Mile High for the first time.
Well, I didn't really realize the magnitude of the game, first home game, as much as I realized once I got to the stadium that morning. The only thing that was on my mind is that we were 0-2 and didn't score many runs in New York. So as a leadoff hitter, I was more so thinking, I gotta jumpstart this off. We gotta get going. But I think I focused more on that than the actual anticipation of opening day at Mile High with, when 50,000 was at BP, was at batting practice. I mean, it was packed at batting practice. So we all knew though, once we parked our cars and started walking towards the locker room, there's a buzz around this stadium already. And that was about 9 o'clock or something like that in the morning.
Rem Smith is on the mound. Mike Lansing will be the first batter. Here's the first pitch. And that ball will go into the Hall of Fame. Lansing, the second baseman. He takes the cut and is fouled away.
Charlie, it's important to point out that the last time Bryn Smith was on the mound, he got beat up pretty good at the Metrodome in Minneapolis. What he needs to do, and we mentioned it that day in Minnesota, he has to keep the ball down.
Strike call.
He throws a sinking fastball, a pound ball. And in his repertoire, it's so important that he throws strikes and keep the ball low.
Bounding ball to Eric Young. He throws him out. We've got one away. And now the Rocky Mountain News presents the starting lineup. The first visitors, the Expos, Lansing, and then Alou, Grissom, Bolick, Vanderwall, Cordero, Laker, Cianfrocco, and the pitcher, Bottenfield. So with one down, top of the first inning, here's Moises Alou, the right fielder, hitting .357 already this year. Off to a good start. And the pitch is in the dirt. Moises, of course, is the son of the manager, Felipe Alou. He was born on July the 3rd, 1966 in Atlanta. Here's the pitch. And it's his call strike, 1-1. His dad was playing for the Braves that day against the Giants. He went 0-3. His two other brothers, of course, they had hits that day, Jesus and Matty. Here's the offering. Oh, almost took down Jerry Manuel in the coaching box at third. Jerry has to be nimble.
Now, Jerry's a former infielder, so he's used to line drives, but he's a lot more comfortable when he's got a glove on his hand.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Alou. Eric Young throws him at 2 away. Defensively for the Colorado Rockies, Gerald Clark, Alex Cole, and Dante Bichette from left to right in the outfield, with Charlie Hayes and Freddie Benavides on the left side of the infield. Eric Young and the big cat Andres Galarraga at first, and Joe Girardi is the catcher.
One thing about Bryn Smith, he beat the Expos twice last year. Those are his numbers from spring training. In lifetime against his former club, he is 5-1. So if you're looking for an edge, it may be that Smith has pitched well against this team.
And it is strike 1 to Marquise Grissom. Grissom, the center fielder. He led the National League with stolen bases last year, and he has a base hit up the middle. So Grissom is aboard, and of course is a threat to go at any time. He had 78 stolen bases last year. He stole third 24 times.
Now we talk about young players and how you look for new young people to make impacts in the major league, and Marquise Grissom is one of those guys that is going to be an impact player. He can hit the ball out of the park, he can run, he can just about do it all.
And the batter is Frank Bolick, the third baseman. Grissom edging off of first.
Now it's up to Bryn Smith to give Joe Girardi a shot at throwing Marquise Grissom out, because with Larry Walker out of the lineup, I think that Felipe Alou is going to have his ball club run as much as he can. Now they're a running club even when Walker is in the lineup, but even more so they need to take advantage of the fact that they've got good team speed.
Bolick already with a couple of RBIs this year, and the pitch to the plate is a call strike. Bolick, a switch hitter. He's a rookie. Spent 6 years in the minors. 26 years old. Had 27 home runs last year in AA and AAA ball. Throw to first. And Grissom is back.
Well, you have that type of season in the minor leagues, and you should get a good look at making the club next year. And next year, of course, for Bolick is this year, and he did make the club, and he's hitting cleanup. Swing and a miss.
3-2 the count to Bolek. 2 away, top of the first inning. Grissom aboard with the base hit. Here's the pitch out, and he was not going. An 0-2 pitch out. 1 ball, 2 strikes to count to Bolek. Bolek's slugging percentage was .520 in the minors last year. And he does have that power that Dwayne was talking about.
And one of Bryn Smith's best pitches is the pound ball, like a changeup. If you throw that on the inside part of the plate, a guy like Bolek's going to pull it in the hole.
Base hit into right field, and Grissom will head for third. So back-to-back singles, Grissom and Bolek. And the Expos now with runners on the corners. And the hitter will be the left fielder, John Vanderwall, who has 4 hits and 7 at-bats this year. That's an early average of .571. So he starts the season with a hot streak.
Now Girardi out in front of the plate explaining to Bryn Smith, you got 2 outs. Also letting everyone know if Bolek decides to steal second, he has to let the infielders know where Girardi is going to throw the ball.
Here's the pitch, and it is inside to Vanderwall.
Have a number of different options. If that base runner goes, Girardi can fake to second and go to third, hoping to get Grissom off the bag. You can throw through to try to get the runner at second. Then you risk Grissom scoring from third. Or you can throw through just with the intention to just throwing down there and having that infielder just catch the ball and watch the guy at third.
2-0 the count to John Vanderwall. Grissom at third, and Bolek is the runner at first. Eric Young, and he throws it out. We're in the middle of the first inning, and we have no score. We'll be back in just a moment. And it's ball 1.
Johnny, he throws a fastball, slider, curveball, changeup. He keeps the ball down. He likes to get in front of the hitters, and he generally keeps the ball in the ballpark.
And he comes high and is 2-0.
Well, one thing that we should mention, you got a veteran pitcher pitching for the Rockies and a rookie for the Montreal Expos. And it's possible that this kid has some jitters, although he has paid his dues in the minor leagues. So he feels like obviously he is ready.
6'3", 225 pounds. He comes high again, and the count is 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike to count to Eric Young, who is leading it off in the bottom of the first inning for the Colorado Rockies. We have no score in the ball game. Strike call, full count. A very pleasant afternoon, albeit clouding over just a bit. And the 3-2 pitch. Fly ball deep left field. It is mile high and out of here. Young electrifying the crowd. The hitter is Alex Cole. The Rockies lead the Expos 1-0. The solo shot heard around the Rockies.
Well, I said he generally keeps the ball in the ballpark, but maybe not this one.
And the 2-0 pitch is high. 3-0 the count to Alex Cole.
You know, as an athlete, you always like to be able to pick your spots to do something tremendous.
Count to Alex Cole.
You know, as an athlete, you always like to be able to pick your spots to do something tremendous.
Strike call.
And what a spot for Eric Young to hit a home run. The first hitter for the Rockies here at Mile High. Unbelievable.
And Alex Cole draws the walk. We talked just briefly with Eric Young. He said, be sure and get a shot of all my family and friends. And we said, where are they? And he said, oh, that section up there. We said, thanks a lot. That's a big help. Right now, 80,000 family and friends for Eric Young.
Oh, what a tremendous, tremendous shot.
And speaking of tremendous shots, here's Dante Bichette, who had the solo home run in Shea Stadium. Runner is going. Here's the throw. Stolen base. So Alex Cole in scoring position, and the count at the plate, 1 ball and no strikes to Bichette.
Well, Alex Cole gets a pretty good jump. Not a bad throw by the young catcher Laker, but Alex Cole with a stolen base, and the Rockies are at it again.
He's going to steal third, and he's got it. Alex Cole, back-to-back stolen bases. The count at the plate, a ball and a strike.
If Laker would have had a good grip on this ball, he had a real good shot at throwing out Alex Cole.
And now for the first time in the regular season, you're seeing Baylor ball at work. Here's the pitch. Foul ball.
I want to mention Don Zimmer is coaching third. Jerry Royster had a death in his family. He left and went to his hometown after the ball game at Shea Stadium. So Don Zimmer is now coaching third.
1 ball, 2 strikes to count. Base hit, another run is in. Rockies lead it 2-0. And Dante has his second RBI of the year.
Now, the one thing that Bichette does so well is he's strong enough to fight off anything inside. You see how that pitch was tailing in right on his hands? He got the bat head out and hit it hard enough to get it into the outfield for an RBI single.
And that will bring up the first baseman, Andres Galarraga. Nobody out. 2 runs are in. Eric Young opened the bottom of the first with a solo home run. Throw to first, and Bichette is back. And Dante is a threat to go because everybody is a threat to go. Galarraga hitting .286 early in the year. And this one's fouled out of play for a souvenir.
Now, right now, Bottenfield, who has 36 days in the major leagues, is working just to try to get out of the first inning. And all of a sudden things start to snowball and you can't stop them.
Go to first. And Dante is back. 0-1 the count to Andres Galarraga. Eric Young electrifying the crowd with that solo leadoff home run. Here goes Bichette. And he's got the stolen base. So already in the bottom of the first inning, 3 stolen bases. Cole got 2 and Bichette got 1.
And Felipe Alou coming out. Bichette actually broke before Bottenfield went to home plate. Had Bottenfield stepped off, Bichette obviously would have been a dead duck. But he never took a peek, and that's what Felipe Alou is telling him. He's actually giving him a pretty good earful. You know, sometimes you go out there and you talk to those pitchers and you're kind and you want to make them feel good. That wasn't the type of conversation that Felipe Alou was having with Kent Bottenfield.
One and one the count at the plate. Fly ball, shallow right field. Lansing goes out. Alou comes in and he takes it. Bichette fakes going to third, remains at second, and we have 1 away.
Colorado a little disappointed that he did not advance that runner to third base with less than 2 outs. Here you see the crowd, and it's a beauty, let me tell you.
This will be a new opening day record in the majors.
It's also a 5 helicopter game.
Yes, it is. Here's Charlie Hayes, the third baseman. And he takes a cut and he misses for strike 1.
Yeah, Charlie saw how well Young's ball traveled out of here, so it looked like he was trying to go for the distance too. I asked Dale Murphy before the game, I said, Murph, you know, you're a guy 200 shy of 400. Can you tell, is there a difference? Does the ball carry a little bit more?
Here's the pitch. And this does carry, but it is foul. Woo! It's up there.
He told me, Charlie, he said, you know, he said, I haven't really hit the ball that well in the last couple of days, but I've watched our pitchers hit, and they were peppering the 400-foot wall in right center field. So, yes, the ball does carry.
That one statement, when I watch the pitchers hit, you know it's carrying. Bichette, the runner at second. 1 away. No balls, 2 strikes to count to Charlie Hayes.
Sometimes you have to be careful, though, Charlie, if you're a power hitter, that you don't try to do too much. In other words, Charlie Hayes in a position here where he has seen how well the ball carries. You start taking that left shoulder and you start pulling it out. So that means anything on the outside part of the plate you can't reach.
This one is fouled away. And the count holds at 1 ball, 2 strikes to Charlie Hayes. We're in the bottom of the first inning with 1 away, and the Rockies are out in front of the Expos by a score of 2-0. Here's the pitch, and it's inside. Count evens at 2-2.
Good idea by Bottenfield, trying to work Charlie Hayes on the inside part of the play.
Sun breaking through the clouds. Here's the pitch. This one is deep left field, mile high, and it's out of here. Two-run home run, Charlie Hayes. And the Rockies rule 4-0.
Let's check out the location. That's what a hanging breaking ball looks like. And when it comes up there, it's got a big sign on it that says hit me and hit me far. And that's what Charlie Hayes did.
And here's the left fielder, Gerald Clark. And Bottenfield misses for ball one.
And people are going to say, well, look at that. Another one where the altitude really helped it get out of here. Not so. That was gone in every park in the league.
So Eric Young with a solo home run. Charlie Hayes with a 2-run home run. Alex Cole scoring with Bichette getting the RBI. This one is lined to left field. And it is off of the wall. And Clark heads for second.
And Charlie, what's interesting is all of this has happened so fast, the bullpen is still quiet. Gerald Clark, he comes up with his first hit of the season, and this is a fastball belt high.
And now we'll have some stirring in the bullpen.
Yeah.
Mike Gardner is up. Still only one away. 4 runs in the bottom of the first. And Joe Girardi bounces one to the shortstop. And they barely get it.
Woo.
Cordero throwing out Girardi. And there is Mike Gardner loosening up in the bullpen for the Expos. 2 away, and here's the shortstop, Freddie Benavides. Gerald Clark with that double is the board at second. And the Rockies are out in front 4-0. So far in the inning, 3 stolen bases, 2 home runs, and a total of 4 hits, a single and a double, the other 2.
Now, opportunity right there, Charlie, to see a little bit of Will Cordero and his abilities at shortstop. What a fine play.
1-1 pitch. Strike 2.
You never know about certain plays. You can always look back at one particular defensive play. That play that Cordero made may have kept Bottenfield in the game.
Count holds at 1 ball and 2 strikes to Freddie Benavides. Freddie still looking for his first hit of the season. But the Rockies with the bottom of the first inning that they could only dream about. Here's the pitch. It's in the dirt. And Clark moves to third. Charlie Hayes' home run was measured at 390 feet.
There you see Laker trying to keep it within the area. He recovers, and Gerald Clark ahead of the throw.
And Benavides is caught looking. After 1 complete, the Rockies lead at 4-0.
Coming up after the game, catch a very special episode of The Club. The Rockies' first ever Hall of Famer, Larry Walker, takes you along for the ride as his journey to Cooperstown begins. From the initial call to his all-access tour of the Hall of Fame, hear from Larry himself why this honor is just starting to sink in. It's The Club, Larry Walker's Road to Cooperstown, today after the game, right here on AT&T SportsNet.
I hope you're enjoying the Rockies Stay at Home opener as we bring you some of the best innings from opening days past in Colorado. And remember to check out Rockies.com/feedtherockies to find out how you can help raise money for the food bank of the Rockies. We're moving along to the top of the second. No better time to revisit that magical run in 2007. We all know how it ended, right? National League champs. But remember how it all began? April 2nd, 2007, Aaron Cook got the start, opening day versus the Diamondbacks, the same team the Rockies would end up sweeping in the NLCS. It was the official start to a season we'll never forget.
3-2 over Arizona. Back live, Aaron Cook strike one on Chris Snyder, the 8-hole hitter for the Diamondbacks. We go to the top of the second inning. Brad Hopp does it again here in the first inning. George, that was huge. I mean, I agree with you. Bases loaded, even if the Rockies don't score, forcing, I should say, Webb to throw more than 30 pitches could be very large. But then to come through for Brad Hopp and pick up a couple of runs, even larger, obviously.
Well, I think so. I mean, you can't, even though Webb created everything on his own with 3 walks to load the bases, and he got a couple of big pitches for outs, it's still so important that the Rockies with a 2-out base hit early in a ball game.
Tulowitzki takes his time and fires a strike to Todd Helton. He is blessed with a power arm. And that's down Spear Boulevard, 1-1. Webb gets a taste of his own medicine. Now it's a nasty sinker.
You know, when pitchers come up like this and it's a starter, get it over with. Particularly a guy that hit a buck, whatever. You know, spin some sliders. Get it over with and get him out of there. And keep it inside the strike zone. This is where you really shorten up some things too.
Here's the 2-2 to Webb. Good job by Aaron, bouncing off the mound between a slider there, and 2 are gone. Two outs, and Stephen Drew hit a soft single to right center and scored the lone run for Arizona an inning ago. We're talking about the Hairston family, George. What a family the Drews are in the game of baseball. 3 #1 picks among the brothers. Tim, who spent a little time with the Rockies. JD, of course, now at the Boston Red Sox. Good inning for Aaron Cook, 2-1 Colorado.
Hi, Rockies fans. This is Buddy Black. Today was supposed to be our opener in Denver, and let me tell you, there's no better place to be than Denver, Colorado for a home opener. I've seen a lot of them across the country, and we do it right, and that's because of you guys. Thanks for watching today's broadcast, and remember, you can help Food Bank of the Rockies by visiting rockies.com/feed the Rockies. Be well, be safe. We'll see you real soon at Coors Field.
We go to the bottom of the second. The Rockies will have Drew Stubbs, Nick Hundley, and then Tyler Matzik, 6, 7, and 8. Who wants tacos? If the Rockies score 7 or more runs, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day between 4 and 6 and get your Rockies taco special. Liv Moss at Taco Bell. So Drew Stubbs with his second at bat of 2015. He had great numbers against lefties last year, and hopefully this will be Jeff Houston what can get him going, because he started March really strong down in the Cactus League, but the final 2 or 3 weeks was just miserable for him.
Yeah, you're trying to find your stroke, and the whole time you're knowing it's not there. What do I do? And a lot of strikeouts from Drew, and that's part of the history of his career. But lefties, this is the guys that you want to play him against, and that's why he's in the lineup.
328 last year against left-handers with the average. And I think, like a lot of guys, they start out really hot in spring training. Then as I call them the boys, start to pitch every day, and you start running into the bullpens every day. That's when you start to have some struggles, and it's tough to get those straightened out at the end when you're facing big league pitching all the time, not versus the AA, AAA group of guys.
Yeah, he really struggled just to make contact the final couple of weeks in the Cactus League. At one point, he had 23 strikeouts and 41 at bats. You see the numbers against lefties. Last year, he had an OPS against lefties of 944, but he's going to have to take that long walk back to the dugout again. 1 out, and that'll bring up Nick Hundley.
Have to get Travis Wood out of his comfort zone. 26 pitches, 22 for strikes. This is where the new rule might hurt the guy at the plate, because what you would do is you would step out, readjust your batting gloves, take a little bit more time so he's not ready to pitch.
And the pace of play, again, just a small sampling size, has picked up considerably from a year ago. A big focus of Rob Manfred, the new commissioner. Fastball's in there, 1-1.
But see how he has to keep his foot in the batter's box. Before, you have guys step out, slow him down. Guys, you would hear that being yelled from the dugout.
And Nick went around, 1-2. Now you can step out after you take a swing. Well, here's a question. Interested to hear your thoughts about new timing and batter rules. Left foot in the box, has it helped with game pace? It has so far. And I think also pitchers are getting out and getting their warm-up pitches in a timely fashion. You know, we'd notice sometimes coming back from break, guys still warming up. 2-2, and Wood strikes out Hundley. Back-to-back strikeouts. And with 2 gone, that'll bring up Madsen. And the clock is set at 2:25. As soon as the final out is recorded, that clock starts ticking. And I guess they've already sent out, I read where 10 notices to players, warnings about pace of play, and then you can get fined. Now, nothing will happen in game. You never see an umpire say, that's a $500 fine. This ball's in the air to pretty deep left field, and it's not handled out there by Caesar, and Matzik will go into second. We'll see how they score it. It was hit well over his head. He got back in the neighborhood, but couldn't corral it. Maybe a double. It will be. Well, Wood's known for his bat, but the big hit so far comes from Matzik.
And pretty much really misplayed by Caesar. I mean, you go back on the ball, he's playing shallow with the pitcher up. Ball hits on the thumb, but he circled it like 4 times around the wagon before he got there, and then it hit it right off the thumb. And, you know, I mean, it's good for the Rockies. Matzik's at second base, a couple outs, a chance to get a run across with DJ at the plate.
Yeah, as opposed to your 8th place hitter being, you know, DJ hitting a double and it's the pitcher up. Now you have a position player in DJ LeMahieu, a chance for the Rockies, in essence, to steal a run here in the second with 2 outs. DJ had a big 2-out hit for his only RBI of the season on Wednesday in Milwaukee. The Coors Light Cold Hard Facts are brought to you by Clean, Crisp Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. The Rockies have a major league record through 3 games of 16 doubles. That was their 17th. They lead baseball in extra base hits with 22. The other 5 are all home runs. And that's a base hit. DJ does it again. Matzik's got a hustle. No problem now. Dexter overran it. And the Rockies steal a run. The double by Matzik, a 2-out knock from the 9-hole hitter DJ LeMahieu. Just like Walt drew it up, huh, Jeff?
Yeah, and we talked about it on the pregame show about this ball club and earlier in the broadcast about what they're hitting with two outs, 2 strikes. It doesn't matter from the Subaru Supermo. Nice pitch right over the middle part of the plate, about belt high for DJ. Goes back up the middle. Dexter's charging hard, thinking he might have a play at Matzik at the plate. I think the way DJ was running, he would have kept going around to second base if that throw was going home. Didn't matter. A lot of enthusiasm giving Eric Young high five once he got back to the bag.
And now Corey Dickerson gets another look at Wood. Soft liner to third, starting out the bottom of the first inning. 0-1. One final note on pace of play. Last year, games averaged 302 in Major League Baseball. So far this year, it's 252. So 10 minutes, pretty significant. And this ball's in the air to deep left. Caesar will have a play. He makes it. But the Rockies, with 2 outs, get a run. A double by Matzik. A 2-out knock by DJ LeMahieu. 1-0 as we go to the third.
DJ went 3 for 4 in that game, hitting 9th in the batting order. We've got more from that 2015 game coming up in our stay-at-home opener and Feed the Rockies fundraising event. Moving on to the third for now. In the bottom half of the inning, the Rockies offense comes alive in an opening day showdown with the Phillies. But first, it's 2010 and more than 49,000 fans are on hand to watch Jorge De La Rosa pitch a 7-inning shutout versus the Padres. He's retired the first 6 batters he's faced when we pick it up in the top of the third.
No score. The Rockies had a couple of guys on in that bottom of the second, but Ian Stewart bounced into a double play. Let's take a look at our Geico quote of the day. Joe DiMaggio, you always get a special kick on opening day no matter how many you go through. You look forward to it like a birthday party when you're a kid. You think something wonderful is going to happen. And the Rockies have had many wonderful moments, particularly here at Coors Field. They've had 3 walk-off wins, 95 of course in extra innings when Dante Bichette hit one out. I'll never forget 2005 when a rookie by the name of Clint Barmas hit one out against Trevor Hoffman to beat these Padres. Nick Hundley takes strike 1. Nick Hundley, for a while, prepped at Fairview High School while his dad was an assistant football coach under Rick Neuheisel in Boulder, and his dad still works for Rick Neuheisel, working out at UCLA now. And that's in there also, 0-2 on Hundley.
Yeah, a couple of painted fastballs, very good pitches. De La Rosa last year averaged 9.4 strikeouts per 9 innings. That led the Rockies, and it was 8th in the National League. Outside corner, heat, right where you like it, at 94 miles an hour.
Try to hit that.
There's the changeup in the dirt, 1-2. And when he gets ahead of you, there's so many ways he can put you away. Obviously, it's hard to hit 95, 96, but he has the super changeup and then his repertoire breaking pitches.
Well, that's where, as a catcher, you look up at the hitter and go, well, what do you think? Should we give you the slider? Nah, let's go curveball. Nah, you know, maybe change up. Because hitters are thinking the same thing. Hey, I'm behind in the count 1-2. What's he going to give me? What's he going to offer to me to try to get me out?
If you don't sit on that 94, 95 mile an hour fastball, though, it'll be awful difficult.
Well, there's a changeup, and that's strikeout number 3 for De La Rosa, who averaged more than a strikeout per inning pitched a year ago.
Well, you look on the forward strike zone, you'll see that this ball's a changeup, but yet it had the movement of a slow slider because he got to the side of it.
Let's take a look at the Breaks Plus Take a Break poll of the game. And text your answer to 95323. Would you skip work to go to opening day at Coors Field? If this is anything but 100%, I'll be shocked. Rocks 1 for absolutely. That's a strike.
Well, the only guy that's not there.
Cabrera. Oh, real quick, George. Text Rocks. Oh, Rocks 2 for no. My boss would kill me. And as always, you get a $14.99 oil change and filter for most vehicles in April only, or you get $50. Throw that graphic up again, Mike, if you could, in the truck. Get that $50 read in there as well. You get $50 off mileage maintenance service over $100. That's a great deal from Breaks Plus. 1-1 on the kid from Nicaragua, Everett Cabrera. What a good-looking young player he is.
I really struggled at Coors Field against his former ball club. 1 for 14 in his career here. Probably trying to press a little bit to impress the folks on the third floor here, but wishes he was still a part of this. The Padres did a good job scouting all the way down to Asheville in low A and saw this young man, took him in a Rule 5 draft.
What a good break for him, because he wasn't going to play shortstop here.
No, but you know what, Jeff? They say as an athlete he could play second. He was very, very fluid, so, you know, a guy that can really fly.
I'll tell you a story about that. That's fouled off. Richie Dower, one of the many people in the Rockies organization who had their hands on a young Everett Cabrera. And I was talking to Cabrera earlier today, and he said he gives Richie a ton of credit for helping mold him as a shortstop, because a lot of folks wanted him to play second because he could hit and he's a strong kid. And he said, I want to be a shortstop. And Dower said, all right, well then let's go. And Richie helped him immensely. He also mentioned Joe Michaluk, who's the longtime skipper in Asheville. And that was the last full season he played, George. He played in Asheville.
In the minor leagues.
Yeah.
That's exactly right. And again, that was all before that guy out at shortstop showed up in a Rockies uniform. Troy Tulowitzki, but yet he wanted to try to battle that through that. Another strikeout. That's 4 on the day.
And 3 in a row. That'll bring up the former Wolverine, Clayton Richard.
Well, on the 4th strike zone, you're going to see a big slider that comes so far out of the backside of the ballpark that it goes into the corner on it. One thing he's been able to do is utilized everything. And that's something that puts into the hitter's mind, Jeff. I know that as you're sitting that dugout, you try to eliminate pitches he can throw for strikes. Right now, you can't eliminate anything.
And what I like from that 4th strike zone, too, what we were able to see is how many pitches were up in the middle of the zone and also working down. So changing eye level as well as pitch location and speed.
Clayton Richard fouls it off. So we mentioned that Richard was a backup quarterback at Michigan. In his career numbers, he was 8 of 15, 52 yards. So he didn't get a lot of run. That came in 2004, but you get an idea just how good an athlete this kid is.
Still the Big Ten.
Hey, you know what?
You know?
Yeah, absolutely. It's like Seth Smith. They say, oh, he's a backup to Eli Manning. Well, Eli Manning's one of the best quarterbacks in the business. No shame in being a backup. But somebody wanted you to play SEC football.
That's right. I mean, that just shows you how good an athlete he is. And even if he only got, what, 15 attempts, still 15 attempts more than a lot of other guys.
Look, 3-1. And as we all know, traditionally, Michigan has some outstanding quarterbacks. Let's show you the Rockies coaching staff graphically. No changes on the staff from a year ago. Tommy Runnels sits next to Jim Tracy. Bob Apodaca is the pitching coach. He's been in that position for a long time. Don Baylor in his 2nd year as a hitting coach, the former skipper. Richie Dowers at 3rd base. He works with the infielders. Glenn Allen Hill works with the outfielders and assists Don Baylor with the hitters and works first base. Jim Wright's out in the bullpen. Mark Strittmatter works with the catchers and is also the bullpen catcher. He's been with the organization a long time. There's Jimmy Wright.
Hey, Tom, real quick, Drew, Tommy Runnels wanted me to give a shout out to his dad, Dr. Bob Runnels, who's recovering from some health issues up in Greeley. So best wishes to TR's dad.
You bet. And that miss. So the first base runner is the pitcher, Clayton Richard, as he walks on a 3-2 pitch. It was 8 up and 8 set down until that delivery. So that'll bring up Jerry Hairston. He grounded to 3rd to begin the ball game. Concentration lapse, George?
Yeah, a little bit. I think he got frustrated when he fell to 3-1 count. Then he fouled the ball off, and you just try to throw the ball a little bit harder, start to press. And I think for De La Rosa right now is to go back after the top of this order. Don't create a 2-out mistake into a giant mistake.
Helton will play behind Richard. Give himself another couple of steps of room. Pitcher's not going anywhere, particularly with a left-hander. 0-1 on Jerry Hairston. I think I mentioned it earlier. 4 years the senior of Scott Hairston, and what a thrill for these two guys. They'd never played together save a couple of weeks playing for Team USA during the World Baseball Classic. Other than that, because of the age separation, they'd never been on the same team before.
Well, it's kind of like Adrian Gonzalez and Edgar Gonzalez, who were able to play together for a couple years with the Padres. Now Edgar's over in Japan. Same situation, though, an opportunity to play at the big league level and be around your brother every single day. That's pretty special.
Absolutely. Edgar, by the way, is with the Tokyo Giants. There's Scott. Good job by Miguel Olivo, 1-2. And of course, they grew up in the game. There's 3 generations now of Hairston's phrase that have played at the big league level.
They are, and I mean, when it's in the family like this, it's just it's kind of a neat deal that all the brothers can get together. They're playing on this one ball club together. You have the time for mom, dad, I mean, it's a win-win situation.
Here's the 1-2, swung on and missed. So De La Rosa with his 5th punch out ends up getting the side. Richard walked, He's left at first, middle of 3, no score at Coors Field. The home opener, 2010.
Coming up after the game, catch a very special episode of The Club. The Rockies' first ever Hall of Famer, Larry Walker, takes you along for the ride as his journey to Cooperstown begins. From the initial call to his all-access tour of the Hall of Fame, hear from Larry himself why this honor is just starting to sink in. It's The Club, Larry Walker's Road to Cooperstown, today after the game, right here on AT&T SportsNet.
All right, guys, I have moved outside of left field by Fido. You can see things are still hopping outside of Coors Field. Fido, a great place to go before, after the game, enjoy a Coors Light. We're going to enjoy the game again and go back up to the booth to Drew and George, guys.
All right, Mark, thank you. Phillies up 1-0. Clint Barmas, Jason Marquis, and Dexter Fowler to face Cole Hamels in the third. And that's in there for a strike. And another fastball. Rockies are 9-7 in home openers. Last year at home, they finished 43-38 all time. At Coors Field, they've won 56% of their games. 628 and 498. But since this beautiful facility opened in '95, that's the 5th best home record in the National League. And I don't care who you are. If you have designs on playing in October, you have to play well in your own yard.
Have to. There's no question. You know, the thing is, you look at every club that goes into playoffs, they have a very good record at home. They're a way deep souvenir. But they have a great record at home and play about 500 or a little less on the road in order to get in, or you're not going to make it.
There were only 6 teams, George, last year in baseball that finished above 500 on the road. The Phillies were one of them. They were second, in fact, in all of baseball. Good at bat right now by Barmas. The Angels won 50 games last year away from Anaheim. That was the best mark in the game. The Phillies were 44-37, which was tops in the National League. This ball yanked down the line. Fair ball for Clint Barmas. Over into the corner. Ibanez will retrieve it. A leadoff double. That's a heck of an at-bat, Jeff Houston.
Well, it was, because Cole Hamels was trying to throw fastball. Clint hooked a couple of souvenirs, as George said, down the left field line, and all of a sudden tried to go away with the changeup, cut back over to the outside part of the plate. What allowed him to do that is, we can see from the Hyundai cam, able to keep the hands back just enough and then let that top hand go to get a little bit more extension. Out of the box, he knew it was a double.
With a guy like Hamels on the mound, Jeff, I want to ask you as a third baseman, will they cheat over to the line more because you have a tendency to pull the ball?
Yes, and he should, and that's where I've said it before, as a shortstop, what you do is you let the third baseman know. You just give a little whistle. As soon as he comes set, hey, a changeup's on the way, be ready.
Here's the bunt up the third base line. It's going to go foul. That's the direction you want to bunt it, with a runner at second. 1 ball, 1 strike. Let's take a look at our Firestone leaderboard. Early home run totals. The Rockies have knocked 7 out of the yard, all solo home runs. Arizona with 5 on opening day. They have 6 right now. Florida, you know they can hit them. Houston, it's always a good ballpark to hit the long ball. Dexter Fowler got one the other day. And Marquis, again, a little too fine with it.
Hey, you want to bunt it hard. Yeah, want to bunt it hard enough to get it up the line and make sure Felice is the guy that feels the baseball. You don't want to leave it out short. But let Cole have an opportunity at it as a pitcher. See him way up in the front of the box, trying to anticipate to catch anything before it moves.
Now you'll hear this a lot with Jason Marquis. He is a very good hitting pitcher. He's checking out if the bunt's still on. I imagine it would be in this situation.
Career average 206. He's hit the long ball 5 times. He has 40 RBIs.
Good eye. 2-2.
What you get now, though, even from Ryan Howard at third, who was charging hard the first 2 times, he's sitting back just a little bit more, even though Marquis is still squaring around to bunt. So now you don't have to be quite as fine. You can bunt it down the first base if you want to.
And a base hit to the left side. Barnes around third. And he will score easily. Jason Marquis says, well, I didn't get the bunt down. I'll knock in my first Colorado Rockies run. We're even at 1. What an advantage, Fraze, to be able to handle the bat as a starting pitcher in the NL.
The value is incredible because of situations this way with no outs. And you would 99% of the time see the bunt stay on. This is a pitch away from him, but it's a ball. It's up out of the strike zone. Doesn't try to hook it. He just slaps it to the hole in between short and third with Felice pulled in. It increases the opportunity for the ball to get through, cuts down on his range. The Rockies tie it 1-1.
And Dexter pushes a bunt. Hamill's got there in a hurry. The throw is not handled by Howard, and it's a base hit. And now they're calling him out. The home plate umpire, Mike Everett, is saying that Fowler was out of the baseline. That's going to get Clint Hurdle out of the dugout. Well,
that's
you'll
a home
find
plate,
out with us.
Home plate umpire's call, too. It is not the first base umpire. He's staying right on the inside of the line.
That's a horrible call.
That's a bad call.
That is a horrible call. He's going right up the line.
He can't go outside back to that 45-foot side. And it's a bang-bang play right there.
Well, the worst part about it is, too, the bunt moves, it's a dead ball, so everybody's got to come back and Fowler's out.
You know what? As hot as Clint is, he watched it live. When he watches that on tape, unless, you know, from an umpire standpoint, Jeff, unless you're 100% positive.
You know what?
Why make that call?
You're exactly right, Drew. The other thing is, if you see him on the grass, okay, I'll give that to you. But the dirt is only about 6 or 8 inches from the grass. So he had created his own baseline already.
Well, let's see where Mike Everett is when he makes this call, Huey. I think you got a monitor, you can watch it too. See if he gets out there in line with it to watch. He's looking directly up the line to see exactly where he is. Cole Hamel threw the ball in the middle of his back. He didn't throw it anywhere near. I mean,
right.
Not a good call.
You know what?
But he called it quickly. He didn't hesitate at all. You see Clint right after the call, you see Hurdle pop out of the dugout.
And that is an enormous call, too. You're talking about 2 on, nobody out. For Ryan Spilborgh's the middle of your lineup coming up. Now it's 1 out, and your pitcher's at first base. Hey, listen, these guys get it right 99.9% of the time. I have the utmost respect for the men in blue. That was a bad call. Spilly toward the gap in right center field. Now Marquis runs really well. Marquis to third, and he'll get a stop sign from Rich Dower. Now think about that play. Spilborgh's 4 ball games, 4 doubles.
Trying to ride the fastball in. You could see Ruiz go so far to the outside. Look at his glove move on the Hyundai cam. And again, the power for Ryan Spilborgh's is right center, not down the line. And he took advantage right out into the gap. And if you're not into the order, Jeff, with 3, 4, and 5 coming up, you might have taken a chance with Marquis. But with your RBI in the middle of your lineup, there's no reason to do it.
Yeah, exactly right. That's why Rich Dower held him up. But it's nice when you do have an athlete like Marquis that's able to make those decisions tough on a third base coach.
Inside, 1-1 on Helt. These are the situations Todd Helton has always thrived on. Tied at 1. Archie Dower had a nice big league career. Never left the game. He's either played it or taught it. Off his foot, that's a foul ball. You know, you see Marquis out there running the bases. Jeff was talking about it a moment ago. He had a couple of hits in his last start. Huey, and both of them, he tried to stretch it to doubles.
Yeah, but this is the way you play the game. I mean, if you don't play it hard and you hold back, he was going on contact on there, assuming he'll go again on contact. It's fun to watch. Holy moly, that was right at me. Good thing that screen was up.
You know what? Hold on. That's an exaggeration because we're up here. We can see you. That hit 45 feet from you.
It did not. Mark Rasmus right in front of me, right there. It hit the screen. It would have come right at me.
There's like 18 things blocking.
Well, that's true, but I need a glove.
Now Hamill stares in at Mike Everett, 2-2. Hamill, 6'4", a couple 100 pounds. 25-year-old. Good job by Todd.
Trying to recognize the pitch. He just went down and away. Watch when the foot hits, but the hands never come forward till he recognizes where the pitch is in the zone.
Another changeup. He's going to get the run home. Good job by Helt. That's where that ability to cover in and out different speeds with 2 strikes so valuable. Good AB.
Well, and again, you haven't seen the curveball an awful lot from Hamill. There's the fastball in the inner half with a little bit of cut to it, and then he tried to go right back in again. Missed there. Now there looked like to be a little bit of a curveball, maybe downward movement on it, but he continued to fight pitches off to keep everything alive. This is where Hamill felt like he had to strike out, and Hamels doesn't get it. Helton continues the at-bat, fighting off pitches, and then able to ground the ball to the right side of the infield to get the run across and give the Rockies a 2-1 lead. Todd's second RBI of this season.
And that's where the ability of Todd just to foul that ball off. Most guys aren't able to do that.
Garrett Atkins almost had himself a double. Out front, just a smidgen, and it hooked foul. Billboard's at third. Rockies have taken a 2-1 lead here in the bottom of the third. Phillies have read the recent scouting reports in the Arizona series. They're really swung around in the infield to the pull side. This ball high and deep left field. Way back. See you later. Garrett Atkins has gone deep. First hit of the year. Why not make it a big fly? 4-1 Colorado.
Jason Marquis led the National League in run support a year ago with 6. The Rockies are trying to help him out here early in this game. Atkins doing his part with a fastball that stayed up into the strike zone. Atkins smoked it to make it a 4-1 ball game.
Brad Hopp, big drive, right center field. This one will take one hop and visit the Rockies bullpen. A double for Hopp. Second time through the lineup. They're getting a feel for Cole Hamels.
Well, they are. Rich Doobie's going to go to the mound and have a little visit out there. The ball up in the zone, his first start in the 09 season. And if you look at the recent pattern that he has used, a lot of pitches up in the strike zone. That ball belt high, trying to get the ball down and in because Hopp crowds the plate. He just opened the front side up and bounced it into the right field bullpens, the dugout, up on its toes, hoping to see back-to-back home runs.
Hey, Jeff Houston, you were a left-handed bat. It's really amazing. Brad Hopp never bought into I couldn't hit left-handers. He did in college. He did throughout the minor leagues where he hit well over 300. But early on in his big league career, he did struggles. The numbers state that. He's a different guy the last 2 years.
Well, he really is. And a lot of credit, I think, has to go to Clint Hurdle to showing the confidence. You know what, Brad? I'm going to put you in there against lefties. I have confidence in you. The manager does. Now all of a sudden you feel a little bit better about yourself. You go up there, your confidence is higher, and that's what we've seen from Brad the last couple years.
We got Tulowitzki with Hop at second.
You know, I can't help but think back to that at-bat that Todd Helton had. Took a couple pitches, fouling some pitches off. Yeah, ground ball out, got the run in. I'm sure Cole Hamels going, okay, I got Helton out. Uh-oh, now he got Atkins and Hop to follow.
59th pitch coming though here.
This ball's hit pretty well. Ibanez going back, and it is over his head. It short hops the wall. Hop scores. Tulowitzki striding toward third. He'll have himself a head first triple. 5-1 Colorado. So good to be home.
All this being scored on Hamels, who last year a 7-3 record and 16 starts out on the road, but his first here in Denver. And the Rockies have started to hammer the baseball.
Iannetta pops it up foul. Ruiz is taking a look. He's going to have a play. So the party will end there in the third, but the Rockies tally 5 against Cole Hamels. Garrett Atkins in the middle of it with a long 2-run home run to left. 5-1 Rockies.
How about that? The Rockies just hit for the cycle as a team in the bottom of the third. Jenny Kavnar back with you at my home. Hope you're enjoying this stay-at-home opener and Feed the Rockies broadcast from your home this afternoon. A reminder to follow along online at Rockies.com and click the Donate Now button to help the Colorado Rockies in their effort to raise money for the Food Bank of the Rockies. In response to COVID-19, the Food Bank of the Rockies anticipates having to feed double the number of clients than usual for at least the next 3 to 6 months. That's a huge impact on an organization that already distributes to more than 500,000 people each year. If you can, consider making a donation today through Rockies.com, and the Colorado Rockies Baseball Foundation will match donations up to $300,000 today. If you can't donate, we encourage you to seek out your local food bank to see how you can help. When it comes to food, every little bit makes a difference. Our stay-at-home opener and Feed the Rockies fundraising event continues now with another stellar pitching performance from the mound. This time, it's Juan Nicasio appearing in 2014 for the home opener. Now, this guy, Charlie Blackmon, he would steal the headlines that day going 6 for 6. But don't overlook Nicasio's performance. Here he is from April 4th, 2014, taking on the heart of the D-backs order.
Rockies now have a 4-0 lead on Arizona. It's opening day. And as you see, the rooftop is rocking in right field. Converted 3,500 seats. And I'm standing at the Tavern Bar above right field. This place is rocking. I was going to try to order something, guys, but it's going to be impossible. This is new. What's also new is not having Todd Helton in the lineup. Tracy Ringlesby, the Cowboy, also part of our broadcast again this year. He wrote a nice article. He talked to Todd. Todd said, you know what I did? I skied, I rode horses. I even golfed and skied at Vail the same day, something I wasn't able to do. The last time he skied was his freshman year in college, guys. He's enjoying a lot of kid time, a lot of family time, even Coach Tierney Faith's basketball team. So good for Todd Helton. We miss him here, but he's enjoying things after baseball, guys.
Yeah, it's a new chapter in his life, and it's a tough transition, I'm sure, for Todd and for any athlete, especially one that had as long a career and as prosperous a career as he had. This is a floater to shallow center, and nice catch, Charlie Blackmon.
Trying to become player of the game. Couple of hits, couple of runs scored. Nice catch in center field. You got it all working today, Charlie. Really nice catch. Good jump on the baseball. Focus on the flight of the baseball all the way into the glove. And of course, Nicasio, when you're pitching, you really appreciate it. Shut down that first out.
Goldschmidt walked his first time up. And he takes ball 1. 25 straight he's hit it going back to last year. Arenado pops to his feet. Throw to first. Got him! Nice pickup by Morneau. That was Helton-esque.
There comes a reputation with having a gold glove, and Nolan obviously likes flashing the leather, and he did a good job here of flashing the leather. Difficult play, two-step dive, get to it, and then a bullet thrown over. And Morneau, a lot like Todd, follows the flight of this baseball right into his leather at first base. You know you got to get rid of it because Goldschmidt can run.
Great play, Nolan Arenado. Great play on the other end by Morneau. Third time we've seen him pick a ball out of the dirt. Helton made an art out of that. Prada, no swing, 1-1. And there were so many ceremonies before the game, it was hard to keep track, but the gold gloves were handed out also. Cargo picked up yet another, and Nolan Arenado, the first of, I'm sure, many.
Yeah, you hope so. I mean, that's the thing. Arenado just displays every day his ability to field it. And maybe next year you had another guy over there, the shortstop. He's already got a couple. It'd be nice to see him get another one. And I think DJ LeMahieu in time with as much going on in the second baseman around baseball, that if he gets a little more well known as an everyday guy, he'll have a shot at one himself.
And that one got underneath the glove of Arenado. I don't know if they were trying to communicate at that point, Arenado and Tulowitzki. That'll be the first hit of the game for Arizona.
Yeah, Nolan moved very quickly to the left side to try to get to it, just got flipped away from him.
Subaru is bringing you the manager's challenge this year. If there's a questionable call, instant replay will be used to determine the outcome. It's brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru. So virtually everything can be reviewed, not balls and strikes. And several other items, but you'll see it most of the time, I'm sure, with bang plays, tag plays or bang plays at first. And so far in the opening week of the season, that's where most of the reviews have taken place. Montero takes a strike. Our cold hard fact brought to you by Frost Brewed Coors Light. Today's the Rockies' 22nd home opener. Juan Nicasio is the 19th pitcher to start a home opener. The guys that have started multiple home openers: Billy Swift, Pedro Estacio, who's always around the club. He was in Miami with the Rockies as an instructor. Jason Jennings in 04 and 06. In the air center field, easy play for Charlie Blackmon. This should be the third out, and it will be. Juan Nicasio gave up his first hit, nothing else across. Rockies leading 4-0, middle of 4.
Hey guys, Trevor Story. Opening day at Coors Field is always such a special time. It truly is one of the days I look forward to the most of the year, and I can't wait. Coming up in the bottom of the fourth is my home run in 2016 against the Padres. This is my first home opener. I just remember how crazy it was for me and my family. Such a special moment, the way you guys treated us with such love and respect from day one. It's been the same ever since. You guys made it a lot easier on me, my transition into the city and just being a Rocky, so thank you for that. Guys, I think if we can, we need to help the people of the Rocky Mountain region. please go to rockies.com/feedtherockies and help in any way possible. Guys, I'll be praying for you. Thank you so much, and God bless.
Padres up 6-2 after that 6-run inning. And everybody's favorite Bronco in attendance from the world champion Broncos, John Elway, and Peyton Manning's here as well. Pitch is high and away. John comes quite a bit during the summer.
Yes, he does.
And of course, all of you know, John was a heck of a baseball player also. Drafted by the Yankees, played in the Penn League with Oneonta that summer. That's a good start to the inning. Rockies with DJ, and see if he's going to stretch it. He will. He'll end up with a double. Because of where John Jay was playing, he was all the way over in right center field. Because again, DJ hit so many balls to right field, it turns into a ground ball double for LeMahieu, who's hitting like 8,000 right now.
Yeah, and you know this when you're in the box. You realize where everybody's playing, but look at all this area right out here once that ball goes there, because John Jay is playing so far into right center field. Actually, the guy closest maybe was Melvin Upton Jr., but Jay was so fast to get over there. Upton was closer when that play started, but still smart from DJ to leg it out to get to second base.
Russin shows bunt and then pulls it back. And remember, Russin can really swing it.
Last year against the Cardinals, hit the home run to right field. Is that off of Martinez, I believe? The hard-throwing pitcher for St. Louis.
It's too cold. Battery of signs a moment ago. See if they put the bunt on here.
Chris pitch hit in spring training a couple times.
He's swinging, and he does the job. And that's just the confidence that Walt has in Russin's ability to swing the bat. Because, you know, down 4 here, he finds a hole, which is entirely possible. Now he drives in the run. You have traffic. He trusted him to get the man over on his own by swinging the bat.
And you saw it even after that first one he fouled off. He didn't go, well, let's put the bunt on. No, I still trust that he'll get the guy over to third base when his at bat was done. Now this is going to be this is key. You get at least one back this inning. Get some momentum back into your dugout.
Yep, absolutely. Ray's gotten some swings and misses on fastballs up in the zone. And we know he's missed quite a bit up in the zone also, because he's walked.
It's the most inviting pitch for a hitter, but also the one that's the most frustrating, because most of the time you don't reach it. You can't get on top of it and make solid contact.
Out of play. 0-2. He's walked 4 in the game. The Rockies have 4 hits. DJ's got 2 of them. DJ's 8 for his first 12 this year.
You worry about him carrying it over from last year. Go ahead, Charlie. They're giving you this RBI. Just get it in play. The infield is back.
Blackman a walk and a strikeout. Trevor Story on deck.
Derek Norris had called for a curveball on the last pitch, and Colin Ray said, I don't want to throw that. You got 2 choices, either the fastball or the split.
And it's going to drop, base hit. I didn't know it was going to hold up, and Upton was going to make the catch. He was going to score DJ either way. Nice at bat from Blackman. And it's 6-3. Man, he was in a ditch. 0-2. That was a high quality at bat from Chuck Nasty.
And give some of the credit to Chris Russin getting DJ over to third base. But then Charlie just kind of a 3/4 chop swing to left field. Upton comes in, thinks wisely of it, try to make a shoestring catch or a diving one, rolls to the wall. He'll just play it on one hop. And now it's 6-3.
Story's had 2 good at bats in this game against Ray. Line to deep right, and then the single to right center to drive in the Rockies' first run. That came with 2 outs. That's the maturation of Trevor Story, his ability to use that side of the field, which really came on last year when he was elevated to Albuquerque, and then really on display in spring training this year.
And you see it, the strikeouts have been cut down. You know, one year is like 34-35% of his outs were strikeouts.
High and deep left field. Take a good look. You won't see it for long. The legend grows larger.
Well, here at Coors Field, they have a big kaboom sign out on the scoreboard, and that's what it was. Gerardo Parra, again, one of the first guys out of the dugout.
You know my first question for Trevor later? You ever hit 5 home runs in 4 games at any level? Just like that, it's a 1-run game. And Trevor Story, he's not going to be able to walk down Broadway here in Denver without being hounded.
You know, baseball players are superstitious. You're worried. Well, did you give the batting gloves and the helmet to the Hall of Fame? Is that going to affect you? No, he said, I'm going to keep the bat so I can hit another home run.
And he knocks out Colin Ray. 3 RBI day for Trevor Story. He hits well in Phoenix. He hits pretty good in Denver also. Penny, for your thoughts?
I just hit another home run.
No, honestly, do you think in Little League? You think in any place in time he hit 5 home runs in his first 4 games? An ongoing major league record.
Probably not even in high school because they wouldn't even pitch to him.
Now, Mike Jacobs hit 4 home runs in his first 4 games, but he didn't have a home run in his first big league game. Obviously, he had 2 in another ball game, but now it's 5 in 4 games. Cargo at the plate, a walk and an RBI double. Here's Robbie Erlin, and this ball is bounced to the short fielder, and the car goes out. The short fielder being Corey Spangenberg. 2 outs. Take a look at the numbers on Robbie Erlin, who was summoned back to the big leagues today. Did not break camp with the Padres. He has big league experience, though.
Well, 27 career games, 23 starts. He's 8-10 with the 4.60 ERA. Pretty much a control type pitcher. 32 walks in those 133 innings, 96 strikeouts. So he's going to try to pitch to contact.
See if Nolan can get the Rockies back square in this game. Distance on that home run, 411 feet. This ball's lined to left. That's going to roll all the way to the wall. Upton will have to wait for it to carry him, and it's a 2-out double for Arenado. So we were just discussing this during the commercial break. As you watch Trevor Story hit the home run, he ain't hitting wall scrapers.
He is not. The 3 of the home runs he hit down in Arizona, 439, 433, 433. This one was 411 feet on a 79-mile-an-hour curveball.
And this is key. We've seen him take a heater out opening day as Parra steps in. He took a heater out against Zach Greinke. Then he took a slider out against Greinke. He took a slider out against Shelby Miller. There was a fastball that
by
he hit
Corbin,
out
92
by Corbin.
Yeah, 92 mile an hour.
And now he hits a curveball. So now you're starting to try to put a book together. How do you pitch this guy? Well, he has 5 home runs on 3 different pitches.
2 of them in the 90s, 2 of them in the 80s, and 1 in the 70s. And as you mentioned, fastballs, and some of those fastballs, one of the home runs on a fastball was from a right-handed pitcher. The other fastball was from a left-handed pitcher.
He's hit a home run to right. The 3rd home run, or was it the 4th? They're starting to forget him. The 4th home run he hit in Arizona was pretty much to dead center, just to the left of center. And he's hit 3 to left, so he's used the whole ballpark. 2-0's in there, 2-1. Parra throws out a base hit. It'll tie things up.
10 RBIs right now for Trevor.
He's going to be all intergalactic in the month of April. This ball's hit to deep center field. John Jay turns his back, goes back, and makes the catch shy of the track. I didn't think he'd be able to get there. Good play by John Jay. Guess who's the story again? The Rockies entered the frame down by 4. Trevor Story with a 3-run jack.
Wow, Trevor Story. I sure get goosebumps every time I remember the start of the 2016 season for him, breaking rookie records all over the place. This is the stay-at-home opener and Feed the Rockies virtual game, where we're bringing you the greatest opening day innings ever played in Denver while raising money for the food bank of the Rockies. Follow the Rockies on Twitter and find out how you can donate. Coming up in the 5th inning, Jason Marquis throws a gem in 2009 against the Phillies, and Todd Helton leads the charge in a 7-0 win over the Padres in 2010. It's 13-0 in this stay-at-home opener for those of you keeping score at home. Time now for the Rocks to pile on.
Here's the 0-1 from Marquis, and it's a line drive off the bat of Eric Bruntlett that dies in the glove of Todd Helton. Bruntlett in a double switch, now hitting out of the 9-hole. Pedro Feliz has been removed from the ball game, so the pitcher spot is the 7-hole for Philadelphia.
That is what Drew talked about, an inside slice right over to Todd Helton, able to make the play. It was positioned defensively perfectly.
That'll bring up J-Roll, as his teammates call him, Jimmy Rollins. One of the most exciting and top players in this game, despite coming in a small package. Jimmy 5'8", about 175 pounds, out of Oakland, California, former 2nd-round pick. Not too many better leadoff men in baseball, George, huh?
Well, it's really not. I mean, I admired whenever there was a special done on Ricky Henderson when he went into the Hall of Fame, that this is who Jimmy Rollins patterned himself after, the way he played the game. Both built very similar to each other. Both with power, the ability to steal bases.
I like the way he plays defense.
There's not much not to like about his game.
Hey, Hugh, you know what? All the pitchers like the way he plays defense, too.
Well, the other thing, too, is Drew mentioned it, that's what's neat about baseball. You don't have to be 7 feet tall or weigh 300 pounds. Everybody's a different size.
Helton will run to the bag, 2 outs. Now, Jason Marquis has had great success at Coors Field in his career. Last year for the Cubs, he pitched here, and he went 7 strong innings, allowed a couple of runs. That was it. The Rockies actually ended up winning that ball game. Marquis didn't factor in the decision. 3-0 with a 251 career mark at Coors Field for the native New Yorker. And you look at some of the all-time marks of guys that have thrown at least 25 innings at Coors Field. Mark Pryor, who unfortunately could never stay healthy. Is he still in the San Diego chain?
Yep, still battling, trying to get back. Hope he does. He's a phenomenal talent to watch.
There's the 1-0 to Victorino, and Todd Helton was a hog. Put out, put out, put out. That ties a major league record. Congratulations to number 17. 7-2 Rockies.
Hey Rockies fans, it's Drew Goodman. There is no place I'd rather be today than with all of you welcoming in another baseball season in Toledo at Coors Field. We all know how special the home opener is here in Colorado. You have all made it that way. It is one of the great experiences in all of baseball, and that is not an embellishment. And soon we'll be able to get together once again at Coors Field and watch our beloved Rockies play. But right now, there are really important things to do, and I know all of you are adhering to that through this really difficult period of time. And soon enough, there will be baseball again, but in the interim, stay safe, be smart, again, adhere to all of the guidelines, and stay healthy and take care of your family. That is the most important thing. And then we'll get back to the business of watching and cheering on the Colorado Rockies from our favorite place at 20th and Blake. So take care and enjoy the broadcast, everybody, today, and I can't wait to see you all very, very soon.
Your hand with him on the hill today. 5 innings of shutout baseball. Clayton Richards been very good, but he gave up that base hit that drove in 2 off the bat of Ian Stewart, and the Rockies lead it 2-0. That's our Cooney Lexus look back. Cooney Lexus, where luxury has an address. And this ball is lofted to left, and it is a base hit for Carlos Gonzalez. He has 3 multi-hit games coming in, and he's now 1 for 3 here in this ball game. So again, the Rockies have the leadoff man on. And that'll bring up Dexter Fowler. He's 1 for 2.
Now you might see the game slow down just a little bit if you're Clayton Richards, because you got a guy at first that's got speed, a guy at the plate that can handle the bat, he can bunt. All of a sudden Chase Headley's in on the grass. You see a couple throwovers at some point early on.
You know, if you could push a bunt like that, you're going to cause problems, because Eckstein just did get there.
Well, a couple of good things happen. If he's safe, you got first and second, nobody out. Otherwise, you run, move, advance the runner with the heart of the lineup. Your RBI guy's coming up.
Huey, that's great execution. It's exactly where he wanted to bunt the baseball. Try to push it past Richard, who falls to the third base side.
Well, really in the Bermuda Triangle, somewhere past the pitcher, towards the second baseman, and then it becomes a judgment call. Who's going to get it? Is it going to be the first baseman? Who is it? And you're right, Drew, the way Richards kind of falls off to the left. He quickly got off there, though, and Eckstein, with his speed, was able to just barely beat Dexter Fowler.
Well, I thought heads-up play by Eckstein, though. I mean, he watched him this thing keep going, and he was already making a move to the bag, but he got there in a hurry.
Yeah, I mean, David Eckstein, he's just a headsy player. That's nothing new for him. That's part of the reason why he's at the big leagues, because it's not just all talent for him.
Here's the 0-1 on Helton, and that's in there. It's 0-2. Todd's now ready to go. In his career, Helton, with 2 strikes, has hit in the mid-270s. That is the #1 mark of all active players. Outside 1-2. And Todd, the last time he was at Coors Field, final homestand of 09, he went 15 of 35, drove in 8 runs, scored 10. Gonzalez at second with 1 out. 2-2 on Todd. Outfield straight up. Repair that chip in your windshield now. Call Safelite Elite Auto Glass at 303-287-5000 or go to safelite.com. Glad to have the folks of Safelite back with us here in 2010. Helton's 0 for 2 in the ball game. Hit a ball sharply down the first base line, but Adrian Gonzalez was standing near the bag. And this ball is fouled off. So the Rockies last year at home, 51-30. Only the Giants better in the National League. And keep in mind that they started the year 7-13 at 20th and Blake, and then went 44-17 the rest of the way. The only team in baseball better at home from June 1st on, the New York Yankees, and it was only by a game. high, 3-2. Tulowitzki on deck. One other note on the proficiency of the Rockies at Coors Field a year ago. It was their second best home record ever. If you go back to 1996, the second year that Coors Field was open for business. The only time the Rockies have been better at home. There goes Gonzalez, and it's driven a right base hit. Gonzalez will trot home, 3-0 Colorado. Oh, that's 17, still pretty good, isn't he?
As you mentioned, Drew, get to 0-2, it doesn't phase him. He just works his way back to a 3-2 count. And I'm not sure there were too many people in the ballpark that thought that Carlos Gonzalez was going to take off there.
Dangerous to do it, too, with a left-handed bat on a swing and miss. But that's just a hanging slider to Todd Helton. You can see on the 4 strikes on that ball hung on the inner half, flattened out, which Richard had a tendency to do that. If he works around it, it'll just flatten, stay in the zone. Look on the sky cam here, on the Southwest sky cam, you can see that that ball not anywhere near where they wanted the pitch to be thrown.
I was going to say, Frazier went to his Reggie swing there.
Yeah, a little drop back foot down.
And Tulowitzki pops it up, and Gonzalez has it in foul ground.
That back knee of Todd's was on the ground when he finished that swing.
Prevent the full circle so you don't rupture the back, as Reggie used to say. So anyway, I mean, but again, with that left-handed bat up, if he paints that slider and you get thrown out at third, that's pretty risky to do with 1 out. Excuse me, yeah, with 1 out when it all was happening.
Brad Hopp, a walk in the second, and a bullet double off the left field wall last inning.
As a young pitcher, I think one thing you learn very quickly, guys like Helton, Hopp, Stewart, you're not gonna intimidate them by dropping down a little bit with that slider. You know what I mean? It's not gonna get them to bail off of the ball very often.
And this is in the air to left field. Kyle Blanks is out there. He makes the catch. Carlos Gonzalez got the inning started with a base hit. Helton would bring him around. 3-0 Rockies.
Later in that game, Clint Barmes would homer to give the Rockies the 7-0 win over San Diego. Barmes will have another big moment against the Padres later in the show. Here's a reminder to check out how you can help feed the Rockies at Rockies.com. Moving on to the top of the 6th, April 7th, 2017. What a memorable day for me as a Colorado native because it was the Major League debut of my fellow Denver native Kyle Freeland. Kyle dreamed all his life of pitching at Coors Field, and he nailed it, becoming the first player since 1966 to make his debut in his team's home opener in the state he was born in. It was a beautiful spring day at 20th and Blake. Let's look in at Kyle's final inning of work in his Major League debut.
Here's our Kubota pitching performance of the day. Kyle Freeland, Major League debut in front of 50,000+ and a whole lot of family. And he's been very good. 1 run on 4 hits in 5 innings. He has struck out 6. Guess what? He's still out there. He handled a tough first inning in which the bases were loaded with 2 outs. And he got a fielder's choice ground out off the bat of Yasmani Grandal. Been locked in since. Completes his warm-up pitches. Also had his first big league hit, a sharp single to right last frame. Yasiel Puig batting cleanup today. Scott Van Slyke and Yasmani Grandal in the 6th frame for the Dodgers. Heck of a pitching matchup tomorrow. It'll be John Gray against that other lefty for the Dodgers in their rotation.
You shall not be named.
Yeah, Clayton Kershaw.
There he is. We'll go ahead and name him. That's Clayton.
He's the only person in baseball that might move as much as Nolan does in a given day.
You mean where he's sitting and
sitting? He'll go grab a ball. He'll work on his mechanics.
He was out running and throwing earlier today. Got the flip down shades on.
Why? I don't know. Good pitch. 0-2 on Puig.
It's in case the sun comes out.
It was very stylish.
See the Subaru strike zone there. Kyle Freeland ahead of Puig. First time Puig's been in the cleanup spot this year.
He's also hit 5th, 6th, 8th a couple times, or 7th, I should say, and 8th twice.
This ball's hit pretty well to left. Cardula will have a play. That's how strong Puig is. He one-handed that thing.
You're holding your breath the whole time. Just because of the strength of Puig, who hit 2 home runs yesterday.
You know, Dave Roberts was asked after the game, and I was chatting with him about it today, about Puig. You know, reporters are so enthralled with Yasiel Puig, his talent, his presence, and they said, you know, you're going to move him up in the lineup because he was 8th. And Dave, in a nice way, because he's just like Buddy, he's one of the nicest people you'll meet in this sport. And he's also, as we were talking about with Buddy, one of the sharpest guys you'll meet in this sport. And he said, this is not, with all due respect to Yasiel, he's doing great. It's not about one guy, it's a team game. He said, wherever he hits, I hope he does well. Not like Little League where you go, hey, I want my kid to move up. He had 3 knocks today.
And that's, to me, why he was Manager of the Year last year, because of what he did with the Dodgers. 90+ wins again with all the injuries that they had. I just thought Dave did a masterful job last year in his first year managing.
They had 28 guys last year on the disabled list, which was the most in Major League Baseball in 30 years. Get no sympathy to start the season, though, because the Rockies have 7 on the DL and some big names. And we know Chad Bettis is looking in, and Chad, we know you're doing great, and we know we're going to see you soon. Keep up that great fight. Slowly hit to DJ. Van Slyke not super fast, 2 outs.
That was a kitchen ball. He got in there and had some lunch in Scott's kitchen. And we say this when it gets underneath the hands of the hitter. Marvelous look on the Subaru Supermo. Ow, right off of the trademark.
Yeah, you're not trying to hit it off the trademark. That's
Yeah, you're not. That's not where you want it, right?
No. Vinny Castilla, who, by the way, still gets one of the loudest ovations out of anybody. I'm not jealous. And he always says to live in a studio because you have no kitchen.
Well, for Kyle, he just sat down and had breakfast, lunch, and dinner in Scott's.
1-0 on Grandal. And that's a strike, 1-1. Got to figure this will be the last inning for Freeland.
Carlos Estevez is up in the bullpen for the Rockies.
See how Buddy pieces it together from that point forward. You know, Jake McGee's going to be involved. But again, in all likelihood, Holland, Dunn, Ottavino will be down.
Then you're probably looking at
3 of the last 4 days.
You know, Scott Oberg.
Oberg could be involved. Three and 1. Ground ball, gloved by Freeland. Nice job. Man, what a good job by Kyle Freeland. If that's all, he retires the last 7, and he departs leading 2-1. What a major league debut in front of his hometown and his family. Well done.
Hey guys, it's the Murphys here. Hope you're enjoying the game. Just want to give a shout out and thank the Rockies Foundation. Please join us in giving to this great cause at rockies.com/feed the Rockies. Hope you guys are enjoying yourselves. We're looking forward to getting back to baseball as soon as possible.
Yep, stay safe. Bye.
Bye.
The bearded man is Brian Schlitter. He'll take over. He'll be the 3rd pitcher utilized by Joe Madden this afternoon.
61 games a year ago with the Chicago Cubs. He threw the ball out of the bullpen, 56 1/3, sent down. And Justin Grimm was a guy that came up with a forearm stiffness. And so he was placed on a disabled list today.
So Morneau, Hundley, Blackman.
They had Phil Koch warming up. I think if they score the run there, he probably faces Morneau. Being the only left-hander in the bullpen, they're going to pick their spots of where they use him.
And this ball is hit to deep left center field by Morneau. Did he catch it all? You bet! Home run, Justin Morneau. Welcome back to Coors Field. Make it 4-1, Colorado. Career hit number 1,500 to boot.
Get that baseball.
Pretty good way to cap off your 1,500 hit. The fastball away and up and allowed to get that full extension by Morneau with the back leg drive into left field.
Nick Hundley nearly hit one out his last time up. Made Dexter Fowler go to the wall in center. Oppo power.
The 607th player with 1,500 hits in the history of baseball. Pretty select group, and over 19,000 have suited up to play baseball. A little over 18,000, Doug says.
Hit the eject button in Wellington's glove. Hate when that happens.
Yeah, not good.
(4-1) Rockies. Bottom of the 6th inning, nobody out. Here's the 2-1 to Nick, and that is bounced foul. Stu Cole helping out Mike Ault. Former infielder, UNC Charlotte.
He's out. He was out when DJ and Nolan received their gold gloves today, and rightfully so.
Yep. And whoa, look what I came up with. That's a good play by Mike Ault. Stu would have let Ault take that one without a glove. Ault throws out Nick Hundley. And that'll bring up Charlie Blackman for the 2nd time. He struck out his 1st time. You know, on that UNC Charlotte team, we're talking about Stu Cole. And of course, Stu went on to pro ball. Longtime manager and a good one in the Rockies system, and now an outstanding third base coach. Danny Montgomery, who has been with the Rockies forever and special assistant to Jeff Bridett. She was on that same college team at UNC Charlotte. It's the first home run the Cubs had allowed this year.
There'll be a few more. Only because of Wrigley Field heats up, the wind blows out, short ballpark everywhere.
You know, when we've been in there early, George, and you tell this every year that on the years that we've been there, say in April or May, as opposed to when the ivy's in full bloom, it's not a great hitter's park the first month and a half.
It's a wonderful pitcher's park. I mean, heck, you get September, it's a wonderful pitcher's park. It really is. And we always laughed when Rick Sutcliffe went 16-1 and won a Cy Young Award. The wind would be howling out in batting practice, and the day he started, then all of a sudden you'd change and come back out, and you'd have to go get a coat, and the wind would be blowing straight in. The temperature would have dropped. When the ivy starts to grow, the ball starts to fly, plain and simple.
It's like the winds change off Lake Michigan. See that ivy out in center field? That'll fill in. 3-1 on Blackman. DJ LeMahieu on deck. be interesting how this club plays. They have a lot of valued prospects, but you know, the Cubs make a move and it's like international news. And that's ball 4. I mean, based on their moves this offseason, you got to like to pick up John Lester. I mean, I like Rick Renteria as a person. I think he's probably a pretty good manager, but they go get Joe Madden, which is, you know, significant. All the great work he did 9 years in Tampa, taking to the postseason 4 times, the World Series in 2008. Miguel Montero, big fan of his ability. So I understand the excitement coupled with the Chris Bryants, the Addison Russells of the world, but last time I checked, that doesn't make you a World Series favorite. And I think in some corners it was written that way.
You know what, with all those comments you made right there, the one thing you forget about, Dusty Baker was a pretty good manager, couldn't win there, he didn't have the animals. Lou Piniella was a pretty good manager, couldn't win there, and he left quickly. Don Baylor was a pretty good manager, left quickly. I think it's a difficult place, more difficult than what anybody imagines to go and play, and a lot of it's still a lot of the day game.
Hit and run with the perfect guy to do it, DJ LeMahieu. He comes through with another knock. 3 for 3 this afternoon. And Jeff, he may be the perfect hit and run guy.
I'm just watching the second base because he broke to the bag, and then it looked like Fred Flintstone trying to stop. Those feet are just going out from underneath him. Great pitch to try to hit and run with, down and away, easily shot there. Now watch the second baseman. I'll start to go, can't get back. And Charlie trucking into third.
With his swing path and the majority of his hits going to the right side, just an idea. I mean, the inside-out swing is the ideal guy to hit and run with.
And some guys just like to hit and run. And DJ likes it. It's not a, oh, why are you putting that on with me? It's a, great, let's do this.
A little extra special for DJ against the club that drafted him in the Chicago Cubs. First and third, 1 out for Corey Dickerson. He walked and scored last inning.
Difference in this ball game, the Rockies are 2 for 5 with runners in scoring position. The Cubs just 1 for 9.
Dickerson takes ball 1. There's one other note on DJ a year ago against his former club, the Cubs. He was just 2 for 28.
And remember, they traded him because they thought they had Darwin Barney, and he was going to be the guy. Not that he didn't play okay for him, but he's no longer with them.
Two 2-0. Dickerson showing patience in an RBI situation. Trying to get that 5th run home. Got good speed, and Blackman at third. 2 guys with running ability. DJ runs a little better than average at first. Dickerson with 6 ribbies in the early going. You pointed this out the other day, Jeff. With the elimination a year ago, the 1st and 3rd move, it makes it so much easier on the trail runner in these situations.
Yeah, your confidence. You get your normal lead. You can key on the things that you need to, whether it's the back heel, which I like to look at. Some guys will look at the front heel, but when one of those goes, you don't have to worry about him and what he's doing.
Big swing for Dickerson. He grabs a baseball off the pitch back. He wants that pitch again. Saw that grouping of RBI leaders earlier. Did Adrian Gonzalez get called up yet, George?
Yes, he did.
Moved up to another league. 5 home runs, a major league record in his first 3 ball games.
Yeah, they're leading the league with 6, and he's got 5 of them.
On,
3 the other night off Cashner, a guy with pretty good arm.
3-1, Tulo's on deck.
Slitter has a very good hard sinker right now, not able to command it, sinking out of the zone at 94 to 96.
Guy on deck is played the Cubs 35 ball games, and after the 2 ribbies in his last at bat, he's got 35 ribbies in those 35 games. Three and 1. This ball driven in the gap, left center field. Dex cuts it off. 1 run is scored. And Dickerson into second with a double. LeMahieu stops it. Oh, he's out.
Slid past the bag.
LeMahieu stopped at third. 7th RBI for Corey Dickerson.
Yeah, he just slid past the bag. Unfortunately, got that hard sinker down, uplifted into the outfield. Dexter doing a very good job not letting this ball get to the wall into the gap. Then he's going to throw back in, and when it comes back, it goes there. Dickerson goes well past it as Charlie comes in. Watch right here. He slides right past the bag. Everything comes off. There's the tag applied. He tried to put the foot back on, but didn't get there.
Jeff, is that a product of guys just sliding late?
Yes, that's what happened. And when you slide on your left side, when you're trying to go and reach back for the bag, it's harder to do. Where if you're sliding on your right side, sneaking away, your left hand can catch the bag.
Tell you what, Dexter made a great play, and it helps that he has wonderful speed and long arms, because I think for most center fielders, that thing's going to the wall. It's a triple. Rockies with a 5-1 lead, and if you score with us at home, even though he got to the bag, got past it, it's a continuation of the same play. So it's a single and an RBI. It is not a double. Edwin Jackson now, the guy we spoke of a few minutes ago, up in the Chicago pen.
2 out base hits too. This ball club, pretty good job of doing that in Milwaukee, so the task doesn't get any easier as you look at Jackson throwing down in the bullpen with Troy Tulowitzki at the plate.
This is the biggest hit of the ball game. We look back on 1 inning ago. Troy, cutter in, pulled the hands in and rips it down the left field line to drive in 2 and make it 3-1. Two for 3 this afternoon for Tulowitzki. Ryan Schlitter with 2 outs. (3-0). Arenado's on deck. He's got Bronson Arroyo's hair and Blackman's beard. Ten more hits for the Rockies. They're 4 for 4, producing double digits in hits on the young season. You expect it here, but to do what they did on the road, outstanding. It's fouled off. Tulo typically gets off to great starts. (3-2). Rockies have gone 17-6 against the Cubs at Coors Field their last 23 matchups, though the Cubs did win 2 of 3 their lone series in Denver a year ago. Ground ball to third. That'll end the inning. The Rockies get a couple more runs. Justin Morneau led the inning off with a home run, and eventually Charlie Blackmon would score on a base hit by Corey Dickerson. 5-1 Rockies.
Coming up after the game, catch a very special episode of The Club. The Rockies' first ever Hall of Famer, Larry Walker, takes you along for the ride as his journey to Cooperstown begins. From the initial call to his all-access tour of the Hall of Fame, hear from Larry himself why this honor is just starting to sink in. It's The Club, Larry Walker's Road to Cooperstown, today after the game, right here on AT&T SportsNet.
It was really a great day at opening day, obviously with the fans, the city, getting really into it. I know my family loves coming out. They come out every opening day. It's just an amazing day, the fans, and you know, when you get awards from the year before and then you get to celebrate them with you guys on opening day, it's an amazing feeling, and just a great day, and it's the start of something new, start of a season, and you know, hopefully start off the right way. Last year didn't go the way we wanted, but I always look forward to opening day, and God willing, I'll be looking forward to this one.
Here we are in the 7th inning, and Jennings misses away to Sean Green. Green with a line out to left and a line out to right in the ball game. He's 0 for 2. Dangerous man, and it's 2-0. Green more than 300 career home runs. In the outfield, straight up and deep. Swung on and missed. Took a little something off, George. 2-1.
And it's a great pitch. You get an 87, 88 mile an hour sinker working down and away from you, then you back it off just 4 to 5 miles an hour. This pitch at 84, you just back it off. You have the same movement, same look, but it also dives down and away from the hitter, and it's much easier for him to be able to handle it and come back and get the out. Nice job by Jennings.
And Jennings, who is an outstanding athlete. I think sometimes at first glance, people who don't know, they look at Jason and got the big lower half, and you think, oh, he's not much of an athlete. Jennings is a terrific athlete. And he hopped off the mound there and threw out Green, one gone. That'll bring up Johnny Estrada. A couple of groundouts in the ball game for Estrada. Rockies, they get some action in their bullpen. Dejan and Tom Martin. Jennings is due up 4th next inning. One ball and 1 strike. And another comebacker. George, you know what you gotta love? Not only this ball game, 1-1 pitchers duel, but folks who are looking in, you are going to see more traditional baseball games played at Coors Field than ever before.
Well, I think so, because of the hard sinkers. With you got Cook, Jennings, you're going to keep the ball down. You're going to drive it. The humidor plays a role in that. The defense plays a role. But if you're pounding the strike zone, you're working ahead in hitters. It really helps you play the game as a fair game in this ballpark.
Burns gets it off the end of the bat, turns into a single. And from Arizona's perspective, that's a good thing. It'll allow them to get Webb out of the way here in the 7th inning. Luis Vizcaíno, the former Milwaukee Brewer setup man, is throwing down in the Arizona Diamondback bullpen.
Yeah, he can shut it down now. Webb's going to go ahead and hit. Now, I wouldn't imagine it, but I've seen managers do it. They allow your pitcher to hit. Well, maybe something happened with it. Send him back out, or you can go to your bullpen.
Well, I'd be shocked in this situation. If he's hit, he's coming out the pitch.
Hey, man, I mean, what's his pitch count right now with Webb? I mean, it can't be more than 75, 80 pitches right now through 6. He's your man. Put him as opening day starter. He had 79 pitches right now in the ball game.
Got to watch Eric Burns at first. Arduin blocks out.
Yeah, but you know what?
Can run.
You know what, Drew? Right here, you say that, but
you
as a
don't-
pitcher, forget about it. This is your out, and this guy's a pitcher. And he's not a good hitter anyway. I mean, he's a contact guy, but he's not going to drive a ball in the gap. If you let your attention get turned over to Burns, now you take it off your home plate area. Now you may hang a slider and get hurt somewhere with a blue pit. Go right at this guy. You got 2 outs, 1-1 count. End it right now. I mean, just get it over with. Go right at it. Forget about Burns. If you want to steal a base, go ahead and steal it. Arduin's already shown what he could do. He threw out counts early in this game. Yeah, you don't know what kind of a parachute that is for a pitcher to have a guy like Arduin behind the plate. I mean, you can just kind of go, all right, I can take a little more time to the plate now. I can set on that back leg longer, get my arm up on top of the slider a little bit more.
Yeah, just what you were talking about. Jennings falls behind 2-1 to Webb. Webb struck out on 3 pitches his first time up. Did get a sacrifice down in the 5th inning. Burns at first with 2 outs in the 7th. We're tied up at 1. Diamondbacks have already won a World Series title despite being around less than a decade. They have 3 division titles, 99, 2001, 2002. Swung on and missed, and that is all for Brandon Webb. It is all for the Diamondbacks in the 7th. Stretch time at Coors Field. We're tied at 1.
God bless America, land that I love. Stand beside her and guide her through the night with the light from above. From the mountains to the prairies, to the oceans white with foam. God bless America, my home, sweet home. Oh, God bless America, my home, sweet home, sweet home.
Hey there, Rockies fans, it's Mark Stout. I hope you're enjoying this stay-at-home opening day. As you can see, I'm always ready for the home opener. Couple of things about the 7th inning stretch and its tradition within the game of baseball. Some, and I'm stressing some, think that it dates back to this month 110 years ago. It was opening day in 1910, and then President William Taft, he went to the Washington Senators Philadelphia Athletics game. Taft is a big dude, he weighs 350. He gets up in the middle of the 7th just to kind of stretch his legs. As for the singing of Take Me Out to the Ball Game, now that song dates back to 1908. They didn't play it at a baseball game until 1934. And yeah, Harry Carey was the one that popularized it. That was in the early 70s when he was broadcasting White Sox games. He took that over to the Cubs. And Rockies fans, you know what we sing after Take Me Out to the Ball Game at Coors Field. At least since 2007. That's when then employee Cam Kelly, he was the DJ at the stadium. He started playing that cover version of Hey Baby, which by the way was the #1 song in March of 1962. All right, let's get you back to Coors Field to the bottom of the 7th inning. Don't forget, go online, Rockies.com, get more information on how you can help feed the Rockies today, and go Rocks!
Rockies starve for runs right now as they look to face Brock Stewart. 3rd pitcher utilized today. Kenta Maeda went 5 innings, allowed 1 run on 4 hits. Dylan Floro through the 6th inning, and now Stewart misses ball 1 to Pat Valaika. Charlie Blackmon, David Dahl. 3rd appearance this year for Stewart.
Made his first opening day roster this year. Has been with the Dodgers parts of the last 4 years in the big leagues.
fastball, slider, changeup. Throw the changeup about a third of the time. 2-1. 3-1. Rockies have been out hit 13-5. They'll need a special rally these last 3 innings to avoid their 5th straight loss to LA.
It's kind of a series of runs against LA last year. First couple series, Dodgers took the first 5 out of 6, and the Rockies, the next 2 series, they won 5 out of 7, but we showed what happened the last couple series. The Rockies only winning 1 of those 7 games. But lately, the numbers have been remarkable between these 2 clubs.
Just 3 runs for the Rockies to last 47 innings. That's just hard to fathom.
Well, they had a 22-inning scoreless streak in that until Chris snapped that with the home run.
That is hard to fathom. 3 runs in, what'd you say, 47 innings?
47 innings. Two and nothing on Charlie. One of my favorite baseball terms because it is so apropos for the sport. You just have to keep grinding.
If you were to break it out, what's this, like the first quarter of the first game of an NFL season?
Yeah, I mean, if you're going to look at
even that.
162 games.
Like the opening drive.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, it's like 4% of the season. I mean, it's so minuscule right now. It just looks optically, you're like, oh, everybody wants to do it, but you're just
Well, again, there's a lot of focus on the opening, 7 to 10 days of a season, how your team gets out of the gate. If the Rockies went through this in June, you'd say, well, that was kind of a rough week, but there's heightened focus, and understandably so.
Well, and the expectations are high.
Sure, the expectations are high, and I think because of what's happened out of the gate offensively and what happened late last season with the Rockies offense, there's the natural inclination for a lot of folks to say, oh, here, this is a real issue. And ultimately, you're going to play a lot of games, you're going to find out what the issues are and where the strengths are.
The playoffs for me have always been a spot where it shows a team's warts. It shows where the team is inefficient, and in those heightened series, you really get to see it. And we got a chance to see it last year. The Rockies struggled with velocity.
2-2.
The other part too, and we only got to see him for 2 games, but there was a difference between the lineup and just how it was constructed with Daniel Murphy.
Daniel was around today. He's back from Arizona. Didn't have a chance to talk to him, but he was around the cage.
Daniel Murphy since the start of 2014. That's 5 years ago. He leads the National League with a .307 average. This is going to drop into left field for a base hit. So Charlie's got 3 hits today. Second time this year he's thrown out a 3-hit game. So again, it's not all about one guy. Because collectively the Rockies have not hit yet. But the reason that Jeff Bridich went out and signed Daniel Murphy is day-to-day an elite hitter, a doubles machine. In the last 4+ years, last 5 years, the highest batting average in the National League.
And talk about making a pitcher work. Daniel can do that.
With increased pop, too, as his career has worn on. Here's Dahl.
And you guys are talking about Justin Turner, what the Dodgers lineup looked last year without him in the middle portion of the lineup. Rockies fans haven't had a chance to see Daniel Murphy yet in a Rockies uniform for an extended period of time, but I think Murphy will have as big of an impact to the Rockies lineup as Justin Turner did to the Dodgers last year. It just changes the overall dynamic of how this lineup looks.
One ball, one strike. It's Turner. He walked off the cast of Little House on the Prairie, or the set of Little House on the Prairie. Throwback show. Spill, you have any idea what we're talking about?
Little House on the Prairie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to watch that on occasion.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, right before my parents would try to put me to sleep, they'd throw it on for me.
Had racy material. They didn't want you to see it. 2-1 on Dahl.
I grew up with one channel, Drew. It was ABC. So I grew up watching Cheers and shows like that.
Yeah, I still hunt down Cheers late at night on the road. Mayday Malone, man. 2-2. One out. Nolan today checked swing his first time up on the first pitch he saw, and it turned into a 1-4-3 double play. He had a sac fly in the third to drive in the Rockies' only run. He walked in the 5th inning. Three career home runs, 66 career RBIs against the Dodgers. And that gets past Russell Martin. Second and third as Valleca goes to third, Charlie to second.
Chance for Nolan to help the Rockies out here. And it'll be a wild pitch on Brock Stewart, but the Rockies just won for their last 20 with runners in scoring position.
It's a wild pitch if you keep a book. So the Rockies in the offseason signed Nolan to a 8-year, $260 million extension. And the largest contract, this is not in Rockies history, in Denver sports history, and the Rockies own most of them. Tulowitzki, 157, Jokic with the Nuggets, then Helton, Hampton. Now Von Miller's deal, $114 million. In the NFL, not everything's guaranteed, so $70 million of that guaranteed. Charlie Blackmon last year signed a $106 million extension, all guaranteed. So if you look at the biggest sports contracts in Denver history, most of them have been doled out by the team at 20th and Blake. In fact, if you look up historically in Major League Baseball at $100+ million deals, the Rockies right near the top of the food chain in handing out those large contracts. 1-2.
I just know when the deal got done with Nolan, obviously how happy and emotional he was, but just the fans, everybody I would run into said, man, that was great. We needed to keep him. We couldn't let him go. And it was an investment on both sides. I think
a lot of homegrown stars, and the Rockies do their absolute best to keep the homegrown stars.
Kids growing up rooting for these guys in their jerseys and the whole 9 yards.
Line to left's got to get down, and it will. Base hit, and Blackman got a good read. Throw to the plate is in time. Out at the plate. Jock Peterson to Russell Martin to get Blackman. So it's 9-2 on the base hit by Arenado, who has driven in both Rockies' runs.
Backup changeup that Nolan pulls the hands in, but watch the throw from Peterson. He releases it, and there's no hop, there's nothing like that. Russell Martin actually has to jump up and try to reach this. He jumps up, and Charlie tagged out right before that left foot would cross home plate. What a throw from Jock Peterson.
I'm actually surprised he even made that throw. Depending on the score, you don't typically see an outfielder try to make a throw like that. Everything's going Dodgers' way right now.
One 1-0 on Story, 0 for 3. This ball in the air to deep center field. Did Trevor click it? He did. Dead center field, 2-run shot, Trevor Story. His second of the year. And it's 9-4. "37 home runs a year ago.
Second home run this year. Trevor just had his 400th hit of his Major League career in Tampa the other day. And he gets the slider and stayed through that baseball, hit it to dead center field, right in the tunnel out there.
Career home run number 90 for Story.
Rockies trailed 9-4. Part of that in large part to Trevor Story in his home run to dead center field that traveled 430 feet. Let's take a look at this on our StatCast. And he averages now 422 feet. It's quite remarkable for Trevor, but his power is on display once again at Coors Field.
Well, last year he led all of baseball with 7 home runs of at least 450 feet. That was 3 more than anybody else in the sport. And he also had the longest home run, not only last year, but in the StatCast era, that one way up on the concourse. I think it bounced out of the stadium. They went 505. And he had another one that day that went like 470 something. Here's McMahon against Scott Alexander.
What was that number you just said last inning, Drew? 3 runs in 47 innings. Well, the Rockies just scored 3 in the 7th. And you can start seeing the guys are starting to talk now on the bench. Like I said, offense is contagious. This happens. And guys will go through these little stretches where the offense needs to trust each other and take the walk, be okay with the single to left, be okay getting jammed, and then wait for the big hit. And now you're starting to see a little bit more confidence with the group.
2-0 count on McMahon. Alexander, fastball slider.
Fifth appearance on the year for Scott, 3 strikeouts, no walks. Fifth big league season, and Second with the Dodgers.
Called strike.
They just keep two left-handers in their bullpen right now, Scott Alexander and Caleb Ferguson.
Three and two, fastball missed.
You guys, now you're sitting here. One thing when you start the innings 9-1, you're like, oh man. Now it's 9-4. You still 7 outs to play with. And we've seen leads disappear in a blink of an eye here at Coors Field.
The Dodgers, if you're wondering, do have Kenley Jansen in their bullpen. You know, he's dealt with some heart arrhythmia issues that are adversely affected by altitude. Didn't make a trip last year to the Mile High City, but he is here. He had a procedure in the offseason to address that.
Just glad he's healthy and is able to still enjoy the game and come back and play the game that he loves.
Absolutely.
But it would be a little nerve-wracking, wouldn't you think, coming back here again? Even though the doctor said it's fine, the doctor even joked, said you should go work out in Denver. That's how confident I am in the procedure.
Ball 4, good at bat for McMahon. And now Desmond coming up. Dave Roberts, that was just a one at bat deal. He was brought on, Alexander was, to get McMahon. So Roberts will mix and match with Desmond coming up. And to the point you made a moment ago, Jeff, Dave Roberts has seen a lot of games at Coors Field, and he has the utmost respect for that lineup, even though it has struggled out of the gate this year. And he's not resting easy, even though his club's still up by 5. Rockies have seen 3 cross the plate here in the 7th, 2 on a Trevor Story home run straight away. And now after Ryan McMahon walked against Scott Alexander, Pedro Baez comes on. And he'll face Ian Desmond. Desmond 3 for 9 lifetime against the big right-hander. 4th appearance for Baez.
Hard throwing right-hander. Fastball averages 96 miles an hour. Slider 88. Changeup 87 for Baez. Fastball sliders mostly to right-handers. Fastball changeups to left-handers.
Desmond a walk, a strikeout, and he tried to bunt his way on. Russell Martin threw him out. Tied 2-1.
Back with the slider after not being able to locate the fastball.
Two outs, 2-2 count. And a foul tip held by Martin. That'll go in the book as a strikeout on Desmond. Rockies get 3 in the inning. Story a 2-run home run. It's 9-4.
Back-to-back runs from Arenado and Story in the bottom of the 7th. One of the best duos in baseball for sure, but I would say the best left side of the infield in the game if we're talking both offense and defense. And speaking of two-way players, let's look back at a gem that Mike Hampton threw in 2001. He nearly had a complete game against the Cardinals that year. Time to take a peek at the 8th inning from April 2nd, 2001.
J.D. Drew will greet him here in the 8th inning. Hampton hit the first man he saw, Fernando Vina. Then gave up a single to Edgar Renteria. Then he got Edmonds on a comebacker, and McGuire hit that fly ball to right field, and Walker turned it into the inning-ending double play with a strong throw to home to nail Fernando Vina. One ball, 2 strikes to J.D. Drew. Well, there's these left-handers maybe gaining confidence watching what Mike Hampton is doing against the Cardinals.
Well, it builds challenges is what it does.
Yeah.
That's the best part about it. There's one thing to talk about it, but another's to go out and do it. And Hampton's doing it. Here he gets the strikeout of J.D. Drew.
His 4th.
.38 games won the last 2 years by Hampton. 99, he won 22, finished second in the balloting of the Cy Young to Randy Johnson.
This is Eli Marrero, one of the catchers for the Cardinals. Pinch hitting here for the pitcher, Mike Matthews. Matthews did well, 2 shutout innings for the Cardinals. 2 strikes on Marrero. Things too about Hampton is the catchers will tell you that he can vary the speed on his fastball to where it looks like he's got 4, 5, 6 different fastballs.
From 81 to 91 miles an hour with different movement, down and cuts it across, sinks it away, does a number of things with it, and gives you a straight fastball when he wants to. Well, don't miss the start of 2001 season for the Colorado Rockies. The Cubs, the Reds, the Diamondbacks coming to town in April. April's the only time you can take advantage of some great deals on tickets. Everything from group tickets to party suites are available for special prices. Limited time offer. Call today, 303-312-2444.
Swing and a miss, and down goes Marrero. Back to back goes Hampton. Now he's got 5 punch outs. Let's summarize things. Brought to you by Bank One, and in summary, it's been all Rockies today.
It really has been, Dave. You know, Kyle goes 5 innings, 11 hits, 6 runs. Hampton, 84 pitches, 50 for strikes, 5 strikes, 6-0 lead. The Rockies have out-hit the St. Louis Cardinals, 12-5, and this is a very good hitting ball club.
Vina trying to bunt his way aboard. Look at a pop-up slide from Hampton. Are you kidding me? Hampton doing it all. So Hampton works another perfect inning. Down go the Cardinals, 1, 2, 3 in the 8th.
Hey Rockies fans, opening day is always very special, and none have been more special for me than in 2014, the home opener in Denver after the flyover, which is my favorite part. I was able to get a few hits that game. I went 6 for 6, and the Rockies won big over the Diamondbacks, and that is just the most exciting part of baseball, and the best part of opening day is the possibilities are endless. Anything can happen, and it's always great to be able to do something like that at home in front of Rockies fans, and I'm excited to get back out there.
Oliver Perez is now in the ball game.
Well, a year ago, pitched very well. 61 ball games that he pitched in, 3.74 earned run average, 74 strikeouts in 53 innings. Has reinvented himself as a reliever out of the bullpen, a specialist out of the bullpen. Of course, everybody goes back to his days in San Diego in the National League West. When he first came up, they thought the comparisons of Fernando because of his success when he won 13 ball games in a Padre uniform.
He had a great arm when he came up.
Yeah, he's still got a good arm. It's just not 97 anymore. Battled command issues. Now all of a sudden got the strike zone down pretty good.
It's a ground ball to Owings. That'll bring up Nolan Arenado. Perez, the last couple of years, George was talking about his numbers with Seattle. He had a 5-year stint with the Mets. Best year in 07 with New York, he went 15-10 in 29 starts. And Arenado lifts it to left center field. Pollock, 2 outs. Charlie Blackmon, the hitting star for the Rockies, 5 for 5, 3 RBIs, including a 2-run home run and a couple of doubles. Carlos Gonzalez, 2 for 4 and a walk, 2-run triple, 2-run home run. And Juan Nicasio was just brilliant. 7 innings, a 1-run baseball, just 4 hits allowed. LeMahieu is 1 for 3, an intentional pass.
So let me see, if you get good starting pitching and you catch the baseball, some timely hits, what happens? You win a lot of ball games.
You usually shake hands.
Yeah. Get interviewed by Jenny or Mark or somebody on the field. You get to on the post-game show. You're in headlines of the paper the next day. There's all kinds of great things happening.
Pretty good deal, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wonderful thing.
I don't understand why guys don't sign up for that every day.
Well, you'd like to. You'd like to. Unfortunately, some days that the other team practices a little more. You don't get to shake every day.
Two and two.
Tell you what, he'll show you a bunch of different rotations of his hips, hand action, movement, a lot of deception to his delivery. Let's see which one he tries to pull out of the hat here.
He missed at 94, and DJ walks for the 2nd time in the game. Brandon Barnes will get another opportunity. Got his first hit of the year with a triple to right center an inning ago. And Perez just balked, so LeMahieu, LeMahieu will go to second.
Start, stop, what did he do? Yep, he started. See those hips start to rotate, he knew he did it. About 7-8 years ago, he'd have fell apart too.
Jorge De La Rosa will make his 2nd start of the year tomorrow. Arizona will counter with a Colorado, Brandon McCarthy, Colorado Springs. 2-1, 2 outs. LeMahieu at second base.
Difficult to pick the ball up because of that turn at the upper half, and then the hand. You want pitchers to take their hand right out of the glove and let it fall and stay on the body line. Perez with that slight turn still keeps the hand on that body line, and then here it all comes right at you. It's difficult to pick up.
Outside 3-2. Command has always been the question mark. First 4 years in the big leagues for Perez. And some of those years, big volume innings, George, he always struck out more than a hitter an inning. He had a career high at 239 with the Pirates in 04 when he went 12-10.
Still possessing the very good velocity. 94, the location down and away. Trying to give them anything on the inner half where they can turn on the baseball.
And he's walked Barnes. Guess who's coming up, George?
Player of the game, Charlie Block. Could be co-player of the game, but I'm saying it could go either way.
Here's what his afternoon has looked like. Double to right center field. Base hit through the right side. Big fly. Base hit. We didn't show you the double. He had another double.
Oliver Perez can't throw a strike all of a sudden.
One and one. Now 2-1. Oliver Perez hit the big leagues in 2002. Yet he's just 32. He's pitching on the Coors Field mound today in the Rockies home opener. Rockies up 10-2, 2 on, 2 outs in the 8th. You know, the 4 outfielders that were competing for the top spot in center field, the guy at least batting average wise who had the poorest numbers in March in Scottsdale was actually Charlie Blackmon.
And that proves the point. Another hit. Give it to him.
Oh, had a 6 for 6 out. Charlie get to third. Nah, I can't do it. If it was anywhere close, he would have tried. It would have been a cycle. Charlie Blackmon, a 2-run double, 5 RBIs, 6 for 6. Wow, what an afternoon.
I mean, I hate to do it, Charlie, but I may have to just give it to you by yourself. Juan was so good today, but man, oh man, are you kidding me? 6 for 6. Mike Shaw Subaru Supermo sliced that fly ball down the left field line for a double. Charlie watching, hoping it stays fair, and it does. As it curls down into that corner, the Trumbo's going to hustle the ball back in, but not before 2 runs scored. The last 6 for 6 day I witnessed was Kirby Puckett in Milwaukee, was 6 for 6 in 1 game.
What an amazing performance, and he just went in the Rockies record book He ties the team record for most hits in a game. He now shares it with the Big Cat.
Most consecutive games, most consecutive hits. How many is there? Dougie, I'll get you busy.
2
again.
games, Juan Pierre, 9.
There you go.
Galarraga did it against the Houston Astros in 1995. And Drew Stubbs is thrown out. That'll end the inning. The Rockies have scored 2 more. 12-2 as we go to the 9th.
All right, Rockies fans, it's the top of the 9th in our stay-at-home opener and the Feed the Rockies fundraising event. If you're keeping track at home, the Rockies are now leading 21-0. Before we move on to the final innings, let's check out how Rockies players and their wives did their part to help the food bank of the Rockies last year.
Today we are partnering up with the Food Bank of the Rockies, and this event is to help people in need with pantry food items. Orange juice.
What kind of bread would you like?
We have all of our crew here, a couple of the players, a lot of the wives, girlfriends participating.
It's awesome to have the kids out here too. There's not a lot of other charity events where we can have a lot of the kids at too and have it really family friendly too. So cool to have them out here and have my daughter out here. So here we go. Cool.
For her to be able to see all of us helping other people, I'm just hoping to inspire that in her for a lifetime.
Deal.
We're just having a lot of fun helping people. It's all a really good cause, and we're so grateful for the Rockies wives for coming out here today and helping us out.
This is our 4th year here, so it's awesome always to give back to the community, and you know, it's always good to reach out and help out when we can.
Mobile pantries are open to anyone with need. Folks can find those mobile pantries by visiting foodbankrockies.org and going to the Get Help page and typing in their zip code, and again, they will find locations, our mobile food pantries as well as our partner agencies.
Be sure to check out Rockies.com/feedtherockies to find out how you can help today. Jake McGee did his part in the next inning from 2017. The Rockies are up 2-1 after a great debut from Kyle Freeland. Carlos Estevez and Scott Oberg had scoreless innings, and now it's McGee's turn to face the Dodgers and go for the save.
So Jake McGee will get the veteran Chase Utley, then Grandal, and then Seager. 2 out of 3 will be left-handed. The Rockies 2 and the Dodgers 1.
You see the bottom number, 15 and 19 in saves last year for Jake, 41 in his career.
One of the reasons the Dodgers have been picked by so many to repeat in the NL West and perhaps go all the way to a World Series title. You have an abundance of talent. You have Kershaw, you have Jansen on the back end, but you have so many role players that have been there, done that, so to speak.
Veteran role players, with Chase Utley being one of them. And if you don't have it, if he doesn't start, or today's Scott Van Slyke, he started, but he's a role player. So for Dave Roberts, that's what he's trying right now, is just matchups.
Lifted to left down the line, Parra.
Wall.
Play.
Chase and Jake have matched up 4 previous times, just 1 hit for Chase against Mr. McGee.
Dodgers also are carrying 5 men on their bench, position players. The Rockies carry 4. McGee ahead, 0-2. Pitched for Team USA, gold medal winning Team USA. He's got him, strike 3. Came right after him with a 96-mile-an-hour fastball, and Utley's dismissed.
And he looked like he quick pitched him.
Yep.
Chase, with the way he kind of waits on it and sticks his bat out before the pitcher comes. When you quick pitch him, doesn't allow him to get those hands back up, and this just froze him. all the way from here to the end of the day.
Yeah, no argument at all as Utley walks off. Here's Grandal, dangerous man, 0 for 2 in a sac bunt, fouls it off. And again, 96.
And that's something we rarely saw last year.
Consistent velocity.
Consistent 96. But I think, you know, Spilly was talking about the WBC earlier. I think that's where it really benefited Jake, because he knew he had to get in shape for that. Because he said, I'm a notorious slow starter, but he did some work on his legs. He got the arm in shape, and now you're seeing the benefits of some of the hard work in the offseason.
1-1. Grandal is 1 for 2, and that one was a home run against McGee. McGee wanted that pitch. Just off the outer edge on the Subaru strike zone. It's 2-1. Kyle Freeland, Yun Jin Ryu, the pitchers of record. Three and 2. McGee's always been a deliberate guy on the mound. Three-two. He's got him, 2 outs.
.95 on the black at the knees away from Grandal. I also like the target that Dustin set up with. Look how low he is. He's giving him a nice low target, and he hits the mitt.
Now it'll come down to Jake McGee and the precocious Corey Seager. Second at bat for Seager. Stepped into the ball game in the 7th with a base hit. In the air down the left field line, twisting toward the seats out of play. McGee, who had so many strong campaigns in Tampa. Trying to save it for Kyle Freeland. That's there, 0-2. That's 97.
And that time Jake held on to the ball for about 3 seconds before he delivered it. I mean, just trying to disrupt the timing and rhythm of Corey Seager.
2 strikes on Seager. More than 49,000 on their feet.
So close.
Half the Rockies bench is on the top step, waiting to jump on the field.
Yeah, that pitch on the Subaru strike zone should have been called ball or strike 3.
Adrian Johnston, I thought, flinched. Man, that he just absolutely painted that.
It's just nice to see McGee getting back to that form where here it comes. This is fastball. Good luck.
Here's the 1-2. He's got it. Foul tip. I'll put it in the book.
I don't blame you, partner. I thought it was there too.
That's all right. I got another one in.
I know you do. Because it was in there about a half a second.
Now he's got him. See you later. Ball game over. What a 2017 home opener. Kyle Freeland and the Rockies beat the Dodgers 2-1. You gotta love it. And Jake McGee, flashback to his days in Tampa. Upper 90s, he strikes out the side in a 1-2-3 save. And it's all sunny now for the Rockies. All right, Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Kyle Freeland, 6 innings of 1-run baseball on 4 hits. He struck out 6. He walked 2 in his major league debut in his hometown. Memories for a lifetime. The Rockies improved to 4-1. And the Dodgers slipped to 3-2. Great start to the home campaign in 2017 for the Rockies.
Hey Rockies fans, this is Clint Barmas. Yes, we're probably winning this virtual game 35-0 or something like that, but we're going to do what we want to do. And so let's talk about the bottom half and talk about my walk-off home run in 2005. I can still remember coming in off the field, and we're down 2 runs going in the bottom of the 9th, and not looking good for us. Trevor Hoffman coming in to close everything off with San Diego, and I was at that time thinking my day was done. And then we started putting some things together, throw some hits together. Next thing you know, I'm going to the bat rack to get my helmet and my batting gloves and my bat. And I'm standing on the steps getting ready to go on deck, and Corey Sullivan hits his first major league hit down the left field corner, gets a triple. He's the tying run. Aaron Miles comes up, gets a single, drives him in, and now I'm walking to the plate with a tie ball game, bottom of the 9th, off of Trevor Hoffman. My thought was don't get behind early, and just be aggressive, be ready to hit the first fastball you see. First pitch was a fastball. I jumped on it. I was able to get good wood on it, and I'll never forget watching the ball off the bat heading towards the stands. What a moment it was for me in my career, and that was definitely the highlight of my career.
Dustin Moore will lead it off for Colorado. He'll be followed by Jeff Baker. Our in-game box, top of the lineup, an outstanding day. 7 of 10 for Miles and Barmas. Holiday with 3 hits. Offense has not been a problem. The Rockies have given up 10, but they need a little bit more. Popped up, short left field. And Heisdu gets there. He was playing very deep naturally. And he had a long run, 1 out. Our Gatorade player of the game, Xavier Nady. A couple of home runs, first time in his career he's produced 2 in the same game, and 4 RBIs. Last year in AAA, he had 22 home runs and 291 at-bats. So that great potential, which can be an ugly word, starting to be realized for Nady. Baker has a home run, speaking of great potential. And he smokes it down the left field line. Baker to second with a double, and that will allow the tying run to come to the plate. How about that? First time against Trevor Hoffman, and he rips him.
Looks for a ball up and just smoked it. I mean, he wasn't going to hesitate. A lot of times down 2, you're trying to get base runners, you'll take a couple of pitches. Fastball, looked like he just stayed up. Some movement. Hoffman's tried to learn how to sink the baseball more now than because of the velocity dropping to 88, 89. It used to be 95, 96 miles an hour.
Well, he's been touched up a little bit, as many have here at Coors Field. J.D. Klosser 0 for 3 and a walk. Corey Sullivan is on deck after the double switch. That's
It's also there. Colorado trying to rally against one of the all-time great ninth inning specialists. There's that changeup, and it's cued foul.
Well, he doesn't really worry about people stealing bases. He keeps the same delivery. That high late kick is so deceiving when he throws that change. Very deceiving.
The thing about Hoffman is he'll double and triple up on that changeup. Usually a guy to throw it once won't come back next pitch with it. Hoffman will.
Well, it's that good. It's Andy Messersmith good. He had one of the best in the business. That types of changeups just don't come around. People don't master it and use it as their out pitch. Bruce Sutter with that split finger.
You pointed it out many times, George. That fastball is about 87. It makes that 87-mile-an-hour fastball much quicker.
Well, it really does. You're throwing a changeup 75 to 80, 81 miles an hour, changing speeds, creating different movement with the changeup. There's a very special talent to forget the good and the bad.
It's a 2-2 count with Baker at second base. Lorette on the backhand. Good hustle by Klosser. 2 outs. Baker at third base. Corey Sullivan with his first big league at bat.
You see the family, they're excited, hoping he could duplicate what Baker did with his home run.
Sullivan, a very composed, a very bright young man. Went to Wake Forest. He had a double major at Wake Forest, psychology and political science. Not exactly basket weaving. Down 2-0. He had quality at bat after quality at bat this spring. 396 average. Seemed like all the young players, all the inexperienced players had great springs. On the corner for a strike. That's that great control, George. Even 2-0, he never gives in, paints the black.
86 miles an hour. He created a little movement to run the ball away from Sullivan if he was going to try to turn on a fastball.
Sullivan hits it high in the air and deep to left field. Way back. It sure hits the wall. Sullivan will stop at second. His family's going nuts. The tying run in scoring position. Corey Sullivan makes his major league debut with an opposite field double off a future Hall of Famer. And hugs all around for the Sullivan family.
Boy, are they excited. That family just came out of their seats. They're floating on air right now, watching their son get his first major league hit and RBI down the left field line. You didn't think this ball was going to carry, but you check the flags. That's where the wind tunnel is right now. It's down that left field line. And a reaction of everybody in the Sullivan section.
Aaron Miles will try and deliver Corey Sullivan, who runs very well. He checks his swing, no swing. I have to tell you something, not only was it a great dive to try to catch the ball by Heisdu, but he scrambled to his feet and made sure that Sullivan didn't get to third, because Hoffman will throw the ball in the dirt with his changeup.
Absolutely he will, particularly in this park where he keeps the ball down in the strike zone.
Base hit center field. Sullivan around third. We're all tied up. A little 20th and Blake magic. Five hits, a career high for Aaron Miles. And they've done it against Trevor Hoffman. All even at 10 on opening day 2005.
Yeah, you look at this, not trying to do anything special with the ball. A change up floating away from him. He just takes it right back up the middle. Sullivan with 2 outs on the move scores easily.
Now let me ask you this, do you run Miles, George?
Absolutely, be aggressive. The only reason I say that, he has a very high leg kick, meaning Hoffman. Miles with 12 stolen bases a year ago. Sullivan right now. Oh man, is this really happening to me? A year ago in Tulsa, Oklahoma, performing, set out a year. They're in the big leagues.
This ball, Jack, deep left field, way back, take a good look. You won't see it for long. A walk-off, 2-run shot from Clint Barmis. Oh, what a way to start 2005. The rest of 2005 holds, but I won't soon forget game number 1. How you like those kids now?
Wow. Is this not fun? No doubt, you got to be proud and you got to be happy.
Clint Barmis wins it. 4-run rally in the 9th against future Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman.
Time is running out to donate at Rockies.com/feed the Rockies. Stay safe, stay healthy, and hopefully I'll see you this year at Coors Field.
Hey, thanks, Clint. We can't wait to all be back at Coors Field again real soon. That walk-off was awesome, but did you happen to catch Corey Sullivan in his major league debut with a 2-out RBI double off Hall of Famer Trevor Hoffman? Can you tell I'm proud of my colleague? Hey, it's time now to fire up the fireplace and bundle up as we travel back to Coors Field and its debut in 1995. Rockies are trailing in the bottom of the 14th, but they're about to make this night a memorable one in the first ever game at 20th and Blake.
Obviously, 1993, the inaugural game, was one of the most exciting games in Rocky history. While most of us were in awe of the 80,000 plus fans in the stands that way, EY made history with his leadoff home run, and I think he hit another one that game, and we went on to win big. But my exciting opening day was in 1995, and I think most of you know where I'm going with this, but it was a home game, and it was the first game in Coors Field history versus the Mets, and it went 14 innings, and most of y'all stuck around that 14 innings, even though it was freezing cold that night, and I wanted to end it. I remember it was at the bottom of the 14th, there were 1 out, 2 men on, it was a 2-1 count, and I had just almost fallen down swinging the bat trying to hit a homer to get out of there at 14 innings in freezing cold weather. I remember after the game I watched it on TV and John Miller asked Joe Morgan, "Joe, do you think Dante's trying to do too much tonight?" And Joe Morgan said, "Well, it's opening day. Home run hitters are trying to hit home runs." Well, that's exactly what I did a couple pitches later. One of the most exciting swings of my life, and hopefully an exciting swing for a lot of you also. So I'll try to give you a little bit of that. I'll try to take you back for a second, even though I don't have the hair. One more shot. Okay, there's the fist pump. And just want to say thank you. God bless you. Thank you for supporting the Rockies Foundation. And I hope you all stay safe and well during these times. And I want to say God bless you. And we'll see each other again. We'll talk again. And Rockies baseball will be back. Love you all. Bye-bye.
It is 9-8 for the Mets. We go to the last of the 14th. 43 players have been used in this game. 14 of them have been pitchers. Todd Hundley a big night. 4 for 6 in a grand slam. Brett Butler has been on base 5 times and scored 3. And Larry Walker 3 for 6. 3 doubles, 3 batted in, and he is up second here in the last of the 14th inning. This game is already the longest game in Rockies history. Swing and a miss. Strike one. Joe Girardi 3 for 6 with 3 runs scored and a run batted in. The previous record was 4 hours and 32 minutes. We're now at 4 hours and 41 minutes for this game. Always like to be part of a record, Joe.
Well, we are a part of a record.
Let's go for the record.
You want to set one that they'll never break?
Yeah. I got plenty of time.
Plenty of time. It's still early.
It's only 10:20 here. We got 2 hours and 40 minutes before curfew here. In fact, they don't even have curfew. That's a base hit. Hold on. I mean, the pattern's been set. The Rockies only score if the Mets score.
You're right.
And Walker has done it once already in the clutch in the 9th inning. His 2-out double tied this ball game. And now he's got a chance to do it again.
Well, what do you do if you're Don Baylor, though? Do you bunt him over to try to tie this ball game, or do you let Larry Walker go ahead and hit?
I say that those fans there were right.
Okay.
Let him find the seats. Ball one. And after Walker, you've got Galarraga. And after him, you've got Bichette. These are the big guns. There's the Cat. Girardi, a 4-hit game. 4 for 7. Larry Walker 3 for 6. And the fans begin a Larry chant. Too low. 2-0 the count to Walker.
Well, Walker should get a pretty good pitch to hit here. And if nothing else, he can sit dead ready. He can sit on the fastball and nothing else.
Here it comes. 2-1. He got the fastball. Well, they've had everything here tonight in this ball game except that ultimate storybook ending for the Rockies in their home ballpark in their first game. Girardi back. The Rockies tied it in the 9th, and then they came back and tied it again in the 13th. Now we're in the 14th. They're behind again. 2-2.
That's a pretty good pitch.
Huh?
That was a good pitch there. Looked like a little cut fastball away from Larry Walker. Walker looked like he was looking for a pitch inside that he could pull. And that looked like a little cut fastball. You can see it move a little bit away from Walker.
He struck him out.
Another fastball.
Now the Cat. Now Galarraga has only 1 hit in this game. 1 for 6. But he hit a shot the last time up there that Brett Butler made a spectacular catch on to end the 12th inning. The outfield very deep. 1 out, 1 on. Right to third. Bobbled. Bogar. He threw to the wrong base. Everybody's safe.
You're right. Once he bobbled it, he still had a shot to get Galarraga at first base, and he took the wrong play. He could have still gotten Galarraga at first.
That is the first error of the game. It's both a physical and then a mental error.
Yeah. Well, it was more mental because he knocked it down. He had plenty of time to get Galarraga at first, but he still decided to go to second base. See, now all he has to do is pick it up and throw to first base to get Galarraga, but he tries to go the short way, and the hustling Girardi is in there ahead of the throw.
Now remember, Bogar's at third because Bonilla was kicked out of the game. Bonilla would have been the man called upon to make that play otherwise. Dante Bichette. 1 for 5 with a run batted in and a double. A base hit would tie the game most likely again. The game has been tied at 5, at 6, at 7, and at 8. We've had 4 different ties in this game. The lead has changed hands how many times? 3 or 4 times. Girardi, the possible tying run at second. 1-1. I don't know, Joe, is Bichette pressing a little bit tonight?
Well, it seems like he's, going for it or trying to hit the ball out of the ballpark. But it's still opening day. I mean, everyone's excited. The home run hitters want to hit home runs. The base stealers want to steal bases.
This is still opening day?
This is still opening day.
Slider in the dirt. Saved nicely by Hundley. What a night for Hundley. He's done everything.
Yes, he has. Plus, he's caught 13 and a half innings.
It should be fresh and played a regular season
played
game in 8 months.
Okay, all right.
Girardi, the possible tie run at second, and Galarraga, the possible winning run at first. 2-1 to the dangerous Dante Bichette. A high drive, way back, and there's the storybook ending for the Rockies. The Rockies have won it on the home run by Bichette at last.
Well, John, we said he was going for it, and he got it. Must be fun to know when you hit it, it's gone.
There was never any question. And so after all of that, it'll be a game that they'll never forget here in Denver. They won it 3 or 4 times. They blew it 4 or 5 times. And then Bichette, the first Rocky to homer at Coors Field, and it's a winner. John Miller, Joe Morgan, we send you from here to San Diego.
What an amazing stay-at-home opener. Thank you so much for watching. And for those of you tallying your scorebooks at home, the Rockies beat their opponents today 28-0. If you can, there's still time to donate to the food bank of the Rockies at Rockies.com. The Colorado Rockies Baseball Club Foundation pledges to match fans' donations up to $300,000 today. And if you don't want to donate through the Rockies, we encourage you to seek out your local food bank. Every little bit helps. Remember, Rockies fans, we are all in this together. Stay safe, stay at home, and speaking of which, stay on your couch right now because it is time for a special edition of the club. We go behind the scenes as Larry Walker gets the call to the Hall of Fame. Follow along with the former slugger as he begins his journey to Cooperstown as the Rockies' first ever member of baseball's Hall of Fame. And thanks for joining me today. Here's to you, Rockies Nation. Let's all do our part so we may be together again real soon at Coors Field.